some time to work on your notes too.
She just sent a paragraph, that shit broke my heart in half. Now we texting back to back, discussing the aftermath. All I want for Christmas is a second chance. I'll be a better man, I'll do the best I can. So tell me how to fix this, tell me what the fix is. You the only thing on my Christmas wish list. I've been playing games, ironically miss my Xbox. Say that shit in Spanish, honestly miss my X-Miles. Baby girl, all the memories are playing back in my mind. Said you felt neglected, I was busy living lies. I guess I didn't notice everything I jeopardized. And now you leaving, I just wish I could go back in time, so I could shower you with love, give you everything I got. Cause you been there way before all the music pops. So if you ain't at the mistletoe, I got you when the ball drop. She just sent a paragraph, that shit broke my heart in half. Now we texting back to back, discussing the aftermath. All I want for Christmas is a second chance. I'll be a better man, I'll do the best I can. I can. Winter snowflakes falling slow. Tell me.
Quick weird echo, cause we're doing sound check. Quick weird echo, cause we're doing sound check. Oh, beautiful. Let's play it.
Why this world so cold? Winter snowflakes falling slow. Feels like heartbreak is all I know. She just sent a paragraph, that shit broke my heart in half. Now we texting back to back, discussing the aftermath. All I want for Christmas is a second chance. Good
morning, X-Ray.
Better man.
You handsome devil.
Best I can.
Happy Sunday.
I can. She just sent a paragraph, that shit broke
Dude,
my
X-Ray.
heart in half.
Ran out of flour.
Texting back to
But
back,
fear not, because I got a bonus gram of dabs. Last time I went to the shop.
is a second chance. I'll be
Well, I did one this morning for breakfast, you know. Oh shit, bro. I understand why that's so much more cost effective. It takes so much less to get stony baloney, bro. So, alright. Word. Let's go ahead and get going here. Should we? Wow, it's 11:02. I don't know if we got going now. We wouldn't be our regular fashionable late that we normally are. That would be we gotta keep with tradition. All right. Let's get going. Can I turn this down? Hello? Oh, nailed it. Morning, everybody. I know you can hear me, but can you see me? Wait a minute. Bam! That's got to be the right button. Yes! I should get an Elgato Stream Deck. X-Ray, did you say you had a Stream Deck and you had set it up to do a bunch of really cool shit? Yeah, I have to say, as far as successes in regards to mouth-to-mouth marketing, Elgato, they're really putting it away with this Stream Deck, right? It breaks all the time. Oh, man, okay. Oh, there's darkness in this paradise after all. X-Ray, we're going to talk more about that. I'll definitely bug you about it some more. Because I have questions, right? Like, it'd be so nice just to have a scene switcher right there instead of like, oh, fuck, which one is it in this list when I can barely fucking read anyway? Anyway, good morning. Everybody who's here early, nice. You're doing well today. I'm going to go ahead and hop on and introduce our guest. Let me mute these tunes. Oh, fuck, where's all the buttons I did? Hello, good morning. I'm going to unmute the microphone. I think I unmuted my mic. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
See, I need to get a Elgato Stream Deck. Do you know what those are? Have you seen those?
No.
Okay, so Elgato, I think I'm saying it right. It sounds fun to say it that way because then it sounds the company sound like the name is The Cat. Anyway, that'd be awesome if that's what it was. And then they're like, well, you figured out our secret buzzword. Now we want to sponsor you. Here's a bunch of free stuff. Anyway, they're a company who makes
right?
gamer gear, like for streams and stuff.
Oh.
So they'll make like lights and backgrounds, and they make this cool little piece of technology that is just like this little grid on a panel, and it has little buttons that you can change the background picture of, and
Mm.
press it, and it does stuff on your computer. Anyway, I need to get one because then it would make it easier to switch scenes, so I could introduce you, everybody, archers, new people. Not really sure because I have all the chat numbers turned off. I feel it's more fun to do it that way. I want to introduce you to our esteemed guest. Pow. This is going to be oh, the wrong button on Discord. I think I fixed it. Pow. This is our good buddy, Kim. Kim is the owner of a very fun business called Kim Shoppable. Today, we're going to learn a lot more about disabilities together. So, welcome, Kim. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
It's going to be a good time. I have
Um,
so many questions, and you're such a smart person, so I'm excited.
oh, I try. Fake it till you make it, right?
That's what they say. That's what they say. Chat says welcome.
So I don't know if I'm lagging or not, but it still says stream starting on my phone? Question mark.
Fantastic question. Let me pop over. Yeah, that's going to be a you problem, good buddy.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, X-Rays confirming live here. You know, there is something to be said about the streamers always having like a double checkup, right? Like, we live for that kind of feedback because it happens so often where we have technical difficulties where people are so nice to let us know, like, yo, your shit's broken. And you're like, oh, fuck, let me look
Right,
over.
right.
And you get better and better as time goes on, as popping over to the other screen and making sure that all of the stuff you set up looks good. So, question for you. What
Okay.
do you have to drink this morning? Are you drinking some tea, some coffee, some OJ, some water?
Drinking some kombucha.
You did say that
Gotta love
earlier.
those probiotics.
Okay, can you explain to me what's this hype about with kombucha? Because honestly, I have tried it one time, and I sort of hated it.
Well, so I definitely hate it. I have to find my own flavor. So right now I'm drinking raspberry hibiscus.
Okay, that sounds pretty
And
good.
it is really good. It's the Simple Truth organic, so it's kind of like Kroger brand in a way.
Okay,
The
definitely
health
not
Kroger
sponsored by.
brand. No, not sponsored because they fired me. So whatever.
Oh damn, get him.
So it's just I to kind of regulate me. It's for like healthy digestive, and because I have
Oh,
yeah, and because I have stomach issues and everything, it's
I
just
see, I
kind of
see. That makes a lot of sense. Do you find that it helps? Like, it helps with things you need it to help with? Is it worth the pain you put yourself through to drink kombucha?
well, so this flavor I actually really like, so it's
Yeah.
not pain. Um, other flavors, yes. Um, but I don't know. Would like to think that it helps.
Yeah, yeah, fair.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's just a placebo effect.
yeah. Well, there is we could probably get back into that phrase later in the show because that like comes in play a lot of what we're gonna try and learn about today. So, but that's a good
Yeah,
point.
for sure.
I think that there's still value in that. So I think, now it tastes good, so it's like a win-win, right?
There we
Yeah,
go.
I just don't have. There's two things I have really bad first experiences with that are pretty popular, and one of them's kombucha, and the other one is
Mhm.
fucking mangoes.
Oh, I love
I know
mango.
many people do, and I love the way they smell. But the first time I was introduced to mango, the person who introduced it to me was playing a prank on me, thinking that I had
Oh
mango
no.
to time before, and they're like, "Hey, have a piece of this gas station mango. It's fantastic. You're gonna love it." And I was like, "Oh, I've never had mango. Let's try new things." Down the hatch, and it was disgusting. It was like, just thinking about it, I can remember what it tastes. I got chills. It's gross. It's gross. Anyway,
Oh no.
that's I
Did it
guess.
taste like pine tree or something? Or like what did it taste like?
I think part of what made it so impactful as a negative memory is because I can't quite describe the type of terrible that I was tasting in my mouth.
Hmm.
It's foul. So you
Oh no.
gotta put the emphasis on the you on the mango story because it was that bad. We have a bunch of friends jumping in chat saying hey.
Hey.
Hey friends. Oh my god, all my friends, says Aaron Fletcher. I know, this is becoming my very favorite way to spend Sunday. You know, it used to be a bit of a, like, oh, so Kim, the show used to be at 9 o'clock in the morning. How audacious.
Yeah. Why?
Well, okay,
Why?
the point was because I didn't want to sleep away my whole Sunday, right? Because I'm pretty,
Okay, but Sunday's the day for sleeping in.
well, okay, so I thought that too. And I changed my mind, and now
Really?
the show's at 11. Okay.
There we go.
um, but yeah, no, it's been a fantastic time. But yeah, no, I used to like wake up and go, I don't know. Okay, I want to go hang out with my friends, but I'm so tired. Am I going to be fun to hang out with? And then now the point of
Hmm.
the whole thing was pushing it back to 11 was a good idea because now like I have time to
Yeah.
wake up and have some coffee and clean the counter. Although I've done a pretty good job here at cropping that off. So, but make coffee, the good stuff. Well,
Right. Yeah.
cool.
I cropped some things that I would prefer not to be
That's
shown.
right. Yeah, I did the same thing. Gotta love technology.
Hmm.
Yeah, I haven't done my dishes in like a whole ass day. So it's just like plates on the counter. Okay, I want to talk to you about something. Are you
Okay.
a put the dish in the dishwasher when you're done with it if the dishwasher's empty kind of person? What about you also, chat? Who gets really pissed off if
Uh,
people don't put the dish in the dishwasher? Like say for instance I'm done, I set it on the counter. That drives people nuts. How do you feel about it?
okay. So I grew up with a father who went in the military. So only 7 years. So that's sort of my background, but he has some odd rules. And he absolutely despises the dishwasher. He doesn't empty it, he doesn't put any dishes in it, nothing.
Ooh, is it a
So
discipline thing? Does he use it for
I
ammo storage?
no, he wants to disable it. He wants to take it apart so that he doesn't have to worry about it.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
ammo
so he
storage.
washes the plate immediately and puts it in the dish drying rack that we have next to the
Ooh,
sink.
I have one too. Okay.
Exactly. So, like, I don't know. When I was living on my own in my apartment, I would put the dish in there if I didn't want to have to deal with it, put the dish in the sink,
Yeah.
but then I would feel guilty and look at it and think it was
Ah.
disgusting or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I had to clean it or put it in the dishwasher. But my sister, on the other hand, doesn't care. Threw it wherever she needed to. And I need it in the sink. um, so it doesn't matter if it's clean or what you do with it, it has to be in the sink or in the dishwasher.
Interesting. Okay, so I have a very good reason for this. I've been roasted for it in the past. And the social media is all the rage now with girls going through and telling people what they hate about, dudes. So they're like, "Well, we hate that you don't put your dishes in the dishwasher." And I was like, "Oh, really? Why? I have such a good reason." But I guess I'll let y'all be the judge of that. X-Ray in chat said that he's never owned a dishwasher. He is the dishwasher. So in that case, we probably definitely do not want to put the dishes in the dishwasher. Although unrelated, I've heard that there are some utensils, probably a weird word for that, that are dishwasher safe. Um, Iron Fletcher never had dishwashers. Yeah, see, but I have a drying rack. And oftentimes I will do exactly that because it's just me, and the dog doesn't get his own plate. He gets, when I'm like, maybe I'll give you this. I'll try a rolling pin. Will you tell me how that goes, man? X-ray. So I usually do a dish as I use it. The problem is when I get to the point where I make these elaborate meals, fried chicken and like southern fried greens and all this fucking elaborate many ingredients oil included meals, and then when it's done, like it's best served. You want some? when it's done, it's best served like pretty warm or hot. So, I gather everything in the kitchen, put it away like on the sink, and then I'll eat the food. And then by the time I am done with the food, because normally it's the kind of food that puts you in the couch, I'm kind of like blah, right? Like I don't want to do anything. So I look at the dishes and I just say, especially if I'm gonna do them all by hand and I use that many dishes, I use like mixing bowls and like 3 pans and like two strainers and every season known to the cabinet. Like it's just a fucking tropical nightmare in the kitchen. So I just don't feel like it. So I would not be opposed to putting them in the dishwasher at least, but here's the problem. If you put food like that in the dishwasher and then don't start the dishwasher, it makes your dishwasher smell gross and moldy. And then like that stays after a while, right? Like I my childhood dishwasher, right? We put dishes in that thing, same deal. It has to be in the dishwasher. It can't be on the counter. You're in some shit, especially after such a long rampant time of us never just doing the dishes and them getting gross. Like that's what changed the house around, right? You need to put them in the dishwasher. But every time you'd open it, as the week goes on, it get worse and worse. Like the fucking fur monster that's growing in the drain of that goddamn
Ugh.
dishwasher was definitely coming alive at midnight, the next possible full moon. So I make an egg and have 9 dishes. See, X-ray gets it. That's what. But well, see, here's the best thing to do: find somebody who's gonna do the dishes while you cook, or cook if you feel like doing the dishes. That whole, what do you feel like doing today? Okay, but I'm gonna I gotta warn the person. I gotta warn the person. Hey, if you want me to cook, I'm gonna use a lot of dishes. What about you? Are you would you rather cook or would you rather do the dishes? Both.
I do the dishes while I cook so
Oh,
that the dishes
smart.
don't, yeah, so that the dishes don't build up and then like after you eat you're in like food coma, and that's when
That's so
you don't
smart.
want to do anything. Um, so yeah, I do the dishes while I cook. Um, and I'm more of the kind of person that I don't know. I don't mind dishes. Like a lot of people are all, oh, I absolutely despise doing the dishes and washing the dishes and stuff. Or there's the people that despise doing laundry,
Yeah,
and I
fair.
hate doing laundry.
What
Dishes
part
don't
do you
bother
hate about the laundry?
putting it away. It's the
Oh, okay.
hardest part.
Like folding it
Like,
also and all that jazz.
no, hanging it up. I don't know why I have an issue
Interesting.
with hanging my shirts up. I I'm looking at a pile that's right there that I did maybe 3 days ago that I haven't hung up, but all of the pants are put away, like the pajama pants, everything
Okay.
that goes in a drawer away. It's just hanging it up,
Oh,
and I just
interesting. So it's even more specific than just putting it away. That's hilarious.
right,
Oh, I
yeah.
I too sometimes cuddle with the clean laundry pile on my bed. The problem is when the animals sleep on top of it. Because then it doesn't stay clean laundry very long. Especially like Fang. Okay, have you seen those commercials or like in movies where dogs like have a fascination with their owners' underwear?
Hmm.
Fang loves my
Or
underwear.
socks.
Or socks. He doesn't thankfully eat my socks. That would drive me
Hmm.
crazy. But he doesn't eat the underwear. He just likes to roll around in it like it's fucking snow. And it's not like specifically my underwear, but it's my laundry and usually that's what gets caught up in the mess. So I'm just assuming
Hmm.
it's intentional. But yeah. To catch up on chat, my good buddy Oscar says that Alex and I cook and clean during the process, just like you were saying. And then
Yep,
said, "Holy hell, it does save time." Yeah, see, like y'all are just on the next fucking level. I gotta fucking get in with that. X-Ray agrees with you that putting away laundry is the fucking worst. Jupiter, good
it
to see
is.
you. Holy shit, looks like we're about to have some fish food. I can't have any more fish food. For you, Kim, is my good buddy X-Ray in
Oh
chat.
yeah, I saw the other stream.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Hmm.
nice. Wow,
I
I feel
saw that
so
stream.
how flattered. Thank you. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I can't have any fish food because I had just a tiny dab of fish food this morning, if you know what I mean, and I'm just kind of
Well,
fucking
yes.
wet. Oh, especially
Jabs. fuck you, man.
Yeah, well, I ran out of flour, and I got a
Well,
free.
not you specifically, I mean,
Well, no,
but
me too. And you're right. Like they do get me. They just get me going. The steam engine is full of coal, as they say. It also helps that I switched coffee. I got like the yeah. Do you have a preference to dark roast to light roast coffee?
coffee's coffee, man.
Yeah. See, I thought so
I
too.
just don't like iced coffee, so
What, Kim? What? Why?
the only the only iced coffee that I can drink is and I'm totally exposing myself as a white girl right now,
Okay,
but
send it.
at Starbucks it's a white chocolate mocha with an extra shot of espresso but venti. So there's 4 shots of espresso in that drink.
And that's the only way you'll have iced coffee if it's super coffee, if it's the next level of coffee.
That and next level of sweet too, because it's the white
Oh, like
chocolate
trying to.
mocha.
Okay, fair, fair.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
so
so it
I go ahead.
equals each other out.
Oh, okay, and yeah, that does sound.
Mhm.
I love coffee, and I love like its
Yeah.
nuances, and I'm now starting to recently explore different roasts. So here's the
Mhm.
first time I was shopping on my app, which we're gonna talk about a little later, and I I was shopping for coffee and I couldn't decide which one to get, so I bought all three. And I
Oh,
said,
nice.
let's figure out how to do this. But most of them are dark roast, and I made like I don't know what the name of it is, but I made a dark roast coffee this morning. I was like, oh, that smells like different. That would probably taste pretty good. And I had a fucking drink. Good God, that's tasty. It makes a hell of a difference. I didn't even know. Ridiculous. All right. Well, hey, how about we dig into the topic a little. I
Yeah,
uh
for sure.
I get to gabbing quite a bit in the mornings, as you know, so I have to sometimes circle myself back around um, to the point, which was a beautiful
Mhm.
example there. So Kim, I have you on my socials, and one thing that I appreciate about your content are your memes, because you know me, I'm a bit of a memester. I love to sling the memes. I do enjoy sharing me. So the point is, yours I often really relate with because a lot of yours have to do with folks who are deaf and sign
Mhm.
language and ways to help folks who are hard of hearing. And for those of you who are new or haven't been here before, don't know me that well, I like have a pretty hard time hearing. I can't hear out of my left ear. I use subtitles for fucking everything. People get huzzed from me all the fucking
Yes.
time. Most of the time, if I'm in a room with you, I'm reading your lips. So I get the whole time, like, why are you staring at my mouth? Well, let me tell. So a
Mhm.
lot of the stuff that you've posted, specifically one of my favorites was yours was the first time that I saw, the face mask with the clear window for people who are hard of hearing. Like when that was like just a brand new idea at the beginning. Yeah, exactly.
I have
Exactly.
5 of them.
So fun story and probably a bit of an overshare. Just to give you an idea of what that means to a person who like can't hear from like a real like real life, I guess. If you don't already have one, is I went to the dispensary and for the last like several oh my god, X-ray. He says I just tell everyone, boy, you got a pretty mouth. Yeah, I mean that's probably what folks are thinking to themselves when they put those on too. Like, damn, really? Wait,
Oh, when I put them on, everybody's all, "Oh, you wear that so we can see your pretty smile?" And I'm like,
you're,
Well,
you're just
no."
fucking over it then. You're over it with the fucking clear window
Yeah.
mouth jokes. Well, something I've learned the hard way is that everybody thinks they're a fucking jokester, especially we filthy
Oh my
extroverts.
god.
We think we're jokesters. So actually, one of my
Oh
favorite
yeah.
things to do is the anti-joke, where I just, because I think of the same fucking jokes that every goddamn other person does who's really lame. Like those
Mm,
pop in my head too. But fortunately, I'm like, hey, how many times have you been told this joke today? Normally, people are like, oh, so many, and then boom, you have a brand new friend. Um,
right. Yes. So you can make that joke into a relatable joke.
bam, catapulted, next leveled. Uh, the
Inception.
jokeception, yeah. So one of the difficulties that I've had with this pandemic is specifically in-person interactions with shopping. So dispensaries, at least the ones that I were going to specifically, were having a really hard time with people not like staying behind the barrier behind the counter and like being real dicks about it. So they put up like ropes, and then they put up plexiglass, and then they were all wearing masks. So I was like, holy shit, y'all are just fucking crushing it on the keeping everybody safe thing. But then I definitely couldn't hear anybody. I couldn't hear a single fucking soul.
Mhm.
Like my actual perception of what they were saying was probably like 5-10% at best. And sometimes I had folks who could tell and were yelling at me, and that was lovely, much to the dismay of the other customers in the store, which there were a plenty, let me tell you. And so so it became a very stressful process for me going to the dispensary, or other shopping trips. And specifically when I encountered a barrier like that where the hearing, um, comprehension from me went just spiraled down. Um, it became like a bit of a like an extra chore and something to dread. So that there was a day where I was at the one of the dispensaries. It was a Strawberry Fields north of Pueblo. Um, yeah, okay, and
I know that one. Yeah, my sister goes to it.
nice, nice. So yeah, that's when I went to, and I lived in the big COS too. It was just
Mhm.
I love the trip. That's a whole other story. But so one of the bud tender that was helping me had one of those masks, and when I tell you that I almost just like broke down with relief right there, that I was able to
Yeah.
very easily communicate with that person, and they knew everything I was saying, and I knew everything that they were saying for the first time in months. Like just a wave of like relief washed over me, and
Yes.
like it made the rest of my month better because I thought to myself like,
Yeah.
it was like a lighthouse in a really shitty storm. And I was like, wow, that's really fucking thoughtful of people. So then, and that was already after you had posted, that because I knew that those had already been a thing. And I thought to myself, well, you should start wearing those. But yeah, it's not a fun part for me to highlight. And typically I don't do too much talking. I'm more of a point and grunter. So but yeah, no, that's like a time for me that somebody making an accommodation similar to what you advocate for has really made a big difference on my life. So thanks.
Welcome. Well, so um, those social interactions definitely can give you social anxiety too,
Yeah.
which I totally understand. And a lot of hearing people are ignorant. They really don't know how to help out people, especially with disabilities, but specifically hard of hearing or deaf. They there's a whole bunch of jokes that I follow, or like deaf pages and people that I follow, and they joke about how there's like a list of people, of like specific people. You know how there's like two types of people in the world,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
uh, the types of hearing people are they freeze and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Like, I'm stuck. Like, oh my God. And then there's a person who, like, and I'm this person, but they try to sign and they're so like bad or mediocre at sign, that they get annoying, or that the deaf or hard of hearing person can't understand it,
Sure.
and so it goes on into more. Um, but for me, when I'm wearing the mask, I know that they can read lips, but only 30% of what is understood through lip reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only 30% of it is understood.
Yeah.
Um, and just the other day, my sister and I were playing the Whisper Challenge.
Oh yeah,
um,
I've heard that. That sounds fun.
and I was whooping her ass. I mean, I was able to read all of her lips, and she's like, "Can you hear me? Like, are you cheating?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good at reading lips
Yeah.
because
It's a
that's what
it's a
I have
valuable
to do."
skill.
I mean, and I don't think that I have a hearing impairment. I don't listen.
Okay.
um,
Well,
and
and
so
auditory like processing things are their own like whole ass other thing, right? Which we'll definitely come back and talk to about.
yeah, but I'm trying to learn sign language to become an interpreter.
Oh,
And
nice.
so yeah, my friend in high school, in junior year was profoundly deaf. And being in high school
Is
in
that the
art
medical
class,
term
she
for
had
somebody who's super deaf? Is profoundly deaf? Sorry to interrupt.
well, so there's level of deafness.
But is that like an actual label for a level of deafness? Is profoundly deaf?
I don't know.
Hmm. That would be,
Um,
that feels a bit prestigious, doesn't it? That's pretty cool. Like profound, like, yeah, but look what I do instead, right? That's pretty cool.
yeah. Well, I mean, so like,
You know
yeah,
what? We could
yeah.
probably. I bet you we could Google this. And I'm gonna pop scenes over here. I want to say before I do this, as a warning to everybody, we were talking about how cool and how awesome these masks are. And I told you all that I was just a bit afraid of how I looked in them. But I will say a quick Google image search for a face mask for mouth reading is a bit terrifying. It's a bit scary. Um, wow. Yeah, that's that. Oh, you know what?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Isn't it? It's So yeah, it's super out. This one's
Well,
I like this one a little bit more, where it's like mostly transparent, right? Like that helps. That helps a lot. But I don't. This one's a
yeah.
little bit better because it's like a huge ass square window. But the ones that are just mouths, I'm like, okay, that's something else, isn't it?
Well,
Like,
so
go ahead.
when I was wearing my masks, people didn't take me seriously. Hearing people were all, oh, it's lopsided. Oh, that's creepy. I can't look at you. Oh, that's awful. Like, they didn't take
Really?
me seriously at
Wow.
all.
So what? So
It was
you're saying
very
that there was
disrespectful.
you were doing something to be helpful and kind and accommodating, and people even like it got shitty, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
People were shitty about it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so I mean, and that's really going to lend into kind of one of the big things I want to talk about today was kind of how shitty as a country we are, both directly and indirectly, when it comes
Totally.
to disabilities in the U.S. I can really only speak to the ones that I have experience with, but I imagine that the lack of compassion and comprehension and thoughtfulness does probably lend well to other disabilities as well. And folks who have those in chat or have experience with disabilities in chat can chime in too. We're here to learn. So what we were gonna Google was levels of deafness, right? Way to measure
Mhm.
deafness. Let's see what we got on the interwebs. Okay, hearing loss. Here we go. Google gave us a little snippet here. This is one of my favorite changes on Google, where they're like, "Hey, we're gonna skip the ads for you. We're gonna just give you what we think is the best version of your information that the information that you're looking for. But also here's where we got it from, just in case you want to double check. And this is like
All right.
a very interesting web. I like the little gradient at the top. So it looks like hearing loss is measured in decibels, which we do. But like, is there a? Oh, here we go. It's fucking profound, Kim. Holy shit, that's
Hey.
awesome. You're a fucking rock star. Look, and then you did sign language. See, so I'm one of the folks who I need to learn ASL, and I want actually to learn more than ASL. I want to learn other SLs, but I
Hmm.
I have such a hard time with languages, as you know, as foretold as an adult. And maybe I use it as an excuse to not put the dedication into it, but I don't know. I have a hard time focusing when it comes to learning languages. I wonder if
It's difficult. Yeah, and if you don't use it, you lose it. And that is so true with sign language. And, so I went to school for sign language for 2 semesters at Pikes Peak Community College.
nice.
And then I did 2 classes online, but they were staggered. And so when I went to like a refresher course,
Yeah.
the teacher said that, excuse me, choking on my spit, that's always fun.
Aspirating.
Oh, I do that way too often. I need to relearn everything. Um, so when I went to this refresher course, the teacher thought that I was very too much advanced for the
Oh,
class,
nice.
and
Okay.
I
What a compliment.
became right. Yeah, so I became like the student aide almost,
Oh,
like
nice.
Yeah, I was like the
Like the, hey,
tutor.
everybody, this person knows more than you do. Uh,
Right?
that's fun.
Yeah.
Although, so sometimes that's really fun in classes because you're friends with everybody, but other times, like everybody's jealous and pissed at you. Did you have, which experience did you have if it was one of those two? And if not, how did that go being the teachers?
I was I don't know. It was difficult because most people who were in that class were trying to learn sign language for either their family members who were deaf that were trying to learn sign language too, or there was moms with daughters that were trying to learn, or there were just older people,
Okay.
like people my parents' age. So I was like kind of
Burn.
the age range of the middle.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't one who was supposed to be a teacher.
Oh, interesting. Bit
Um,
of an imposter syndrome sounds like.
yeah, well, that and I strongly believe that a person who is native of the language needs to teach the language.
Fair.
And so at Pikes Peak Community College, all of my teachers were deaf. And I strongly believe either a CODA, a child of a deaf adult,
Ooh.
or a deaf person needs to learn or teach the sign language.
Because
That's
they're,
just,
so
I
is
mean,
that just because they are most most acclimated to what its actual impact is and like inflections and like the way that you need to actually communicate to be functional on a day-to-day and task-to-task basic basis versus just like conversationally?
well, that's their language.
Right.
Like that's their culture. They base their whole lives off of sign language. And so me, somebody who's trying to learn it as a hearing person, it's not fair for me to be like, this is a language, let me try to teach you. Like if I am trying to learn Spanish, but I'm trying to teach somebody Spanish at the same time, like I could teach them wrong. So,
Question
because
for
I'm
you.
not a native Spanish speaker.
That's fair. I mean, that's a really good observation. Honestly, it's also another highlight to kind of the thoughtfulness that you put into these situations. See, I also have planes. Um, plane buddies. So have you heard of the teaching method learn one, teach one, do one?
No.
So maybe, and this is a bit of unsolicited advice. So just as a disclaimer, feel free to take or leave it that is useful or not. So the concept of learn one, teach one, do one is that the best way, or a really good way, I should say, to cement knowledge that you're learning, specifically as it relates to languages, is to learn one, whatever way you're learning one, and then teach one. So teach another person how to do the thing that you're trying to do. I think it's learn one, do one, teach one. Shit, I don't know. If anybody in the chat knows what the actual order is, the point is for the conversation here is that part of like the best ways to cement languages is to actually teach one. So I totally get where you're coming from in terms of it should be somebody who's a native speaker of the language in terms of being in a teacher position, and that makes a total that makes total sense, especially like we talked about. It really adds a new level to the education that folks really need in terms of how to bridge um, like how to bridge communicating with a person when it's not just conversational, when it's needs based, or when it's like an emergency, or you know what I mean. So but also you as a student teacher in that case, that's also just another expression of your pursuit of knowledge. That's just the next step. And I imagine that a lot of the folks in there probably were more than happy to be at that level with you, just in that, like, hey, here's this person who's clearly really passionate about something. And not to mention, this is a little bit of guilt I feel, so I might be projecting here. But I think that anybody who takes the time to learn a way to communicate with a wider array of people is just inherently pretty like noble, and people who do so to be more accommodating to other folks with disabilities, like that's even like another level as far as I'm concerned. So I think that I get where you're coming from in terms of there being a little bit of guilt that you're not a native speaker, but I think that it's pretty awesome a way for your teachers to really give you the next level of kind of like, because you're right that that is something that if you don't use it you lose it, but there you're the stuff that stays, because you know most of it stays, it goes back down to more like a dormant knowledge, right? um that the fundamental base that you have because of that experience is probably a little bit wider than somebody who didn't. So that's pretty cool that you were kind of at that level. And I think totally that, you know, I think that we all get a bit of a break when it comes to 2020 and not exactly chasing our dreams as much as we wanted to, right? It's been a big year, a tough year for a lot of us. I think a lot of us are just kind of bouncing back. So give yourself more credit is the long story short of this whole thing here, right? Um, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, in my first semester of college, should say, I had purchased the textbook, and I still have the textbook. So, uh, when I was when I was freshly unemployed, I didn't know what I was doing with my time, and I was just kind of floundering. And I decided to
I've been there.
go back freshening up the sign language
Sorry, your
with
mic cut
the
out.
textbook I purchased.
Said you were going back
Oh,
to school.
no, so I'm just trying to self-teach
Oh,
basically
nice.
with
Okay.
the book that I have from school.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
That's really cool. And well, and you know, way to continue pursuing that knowledge. Um,
yeah,
you know, I was just kind of scrolling through this website here a little bit. It's pretty cool in here. It gives you kind of different types of hearing loss, different levels of hearing loss, and kind of ways to recognize it. That's pretty neat. Oh, hey, check that out. There's a where's that take you? Weird plugin. I'm not clicking. Um, there's like a little appointment. Oh, well, you know what? Let's talk about it right now. This is a really good example. So one of the reasons I was afraid to click on this link, you know, it's pretty shitty, is that there are folks out there who will exploit people who are kind of looking for help, right? So
mhm,
a common tactic, especially on medical websites, is to implant like malicious activity in buttons, because people click buttons, and like especially convenient buttons. And not to mention, let me tell you from a administrator standpoint, um, like it's hard to circle back around, especially if you're a website like this one who has hundreds of thousands, or maybe let's just say thousands of web pages, to cycle back through and check them all, and make sure like everything's, you know, legit and nothing's like snuck in there. So people like hide buttons and shit, and then they have your credit card information, and then they're like spending $600 at a Best Buy in Antigua and buying iPads, and then your bank is like, "Hey, was this you?" And you're like, "No." And all they did was try to like book an appointment to see if they had hearing loss, for example. I'm not accusing this website of not, like, it looks fine. I'm just afraid of buttons, and it sucks that folks who are just trying to look for help will have to be afraid of buttons, uh, lest they be taken advantage of. Well, and that kind of really highlights a big issue that we have here in the U.S., not only in terms of lack of accommodations for folks, specifically in this case, hard of hearing folks or deaf folks, um, but just to disabilities in general. Uh, you know, I've seen a lot of instances in the country. You know, there's the stories on the news, you see videos on YouTube, where as a country we could be handling, uh, I guess, accommodations for folks who are disabled just a little bit better. We could be a little bit more considerate. One of the things I saw that pissed me off the most recently was there was a video of like, this is why we need the space, and it was a car who was like parked halfway in and out of the no parking zone next to a handicap spot, you know, a wheelchair offload and onload ramp space, and like they had the ramp down but they couldn't get that. And some of these wheelchairs, folks, like you think of wheelchairs, you're like, yeah, you just take a person out, you know, help them, carry them, put them in the seat, or do whatever you got to do and then pick up the wheelchair. But for some folks who are disabled, their wheelchairs are like 700 pounds. Like the
Mm-hmm.
automated ones where a person can control it with their hand or with like the roof of their mouth or whatever the case may be. Blowing there, have you seen the ones where people they just like blow air into stuff and it does button presses and control? It blows my mind. We're gonna come back to that because it's cool. But like those wheelchairs are like 1,700, 600 pounds, and people can't just pick that up. Like it has to literally be driven up the ramp. So these folks have to, usually what I've seen happen when I see this happen in real life, because so I used to manage a GameStop, and we the handicap spots up front had this happen all the fucking time, where they usually have to load up the ramp and move the car, and then like stop in the middle of the road, unload the ramp, load the person, or repark the car next, and then take up another slot. So like. And if that person had just had a little bit more consideration to park their fucking car in the fucking lines, none of this would have happened. That person's life wouldn't have been like impacted, and a person that's an example of a small thing that had a big part in another person's day, uh,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they had a schedule, or especially like. And just to kind of wrap up the my part of the talking about ways that we struggle, I think that like even sometimes going out is a chore for folks, right? So anything that a person does that makes that chore a little bit harder is just it takes more arrows out of the quiver than the chore would have otherwise. And it's really hard to recover from that kind of unexpected detriment to the day sometimes. What about you? How have you noticed that as a country we could probably be doing a little bit better with being thoughtful and accommodating?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you seen any
100%.
examples? Like, have you run into anything where somebody could have probably done a little bit of a better job being more thoughtful?
Um, Not personally, not off the top of my head.
That's kind of a cool thing, though, right?
Uh,
Like,
well, I mean, I try not to focus on those things.
sure,
Like, what I remember is making people happy.
yeah,
Um, and so if I remember somebody doing something to make me angry or that angers me, not specifically to make me angry, I try to reach out to that person to change that situation so I remember the change rather than
oh, cool,
what initiated that action.
nice.
But in like social media or like video or like movies and stuff, as actors and directors, the people who hire the actors or actresses don't hire disabled people. They hire able people um, to play the people of with
I'm
disabilities.
tracking with you. Oh.
Um,
So you mean specifically they're not hiring disabled folks to play characters with that disabled person's disability. Instead, they're hiring actors to fake to have. Oh, I didn't even think.
exactly.
Because when you first said that, I thought to myself, they're not going to hire disabled people to be like members of the crew or you know what I mean? Like cast. I didn't even think about the cast. That makes a lot of sense. And there's already a bit of an issue with what's the word I'm looking for here. Um, Fair casting in terms of representation in acting across so
Mhm.
many other different groups of identities, right? Too, like that's a whole rampant Hollywood thing, how they just kind of suck it at like the fair casting. That's a really good point too.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, okay, so like for example, when I was working at King Supers, everybody knew that I knew sign language. Um, and there was this specific lady who came in, and she was actually the mom of a coworker that used to work at that store.
Okay,
And he was or is a coda, a child of a deaf adult.
right,
His native language is sign language and German, actually, but that's
cool.
beside the point. She lived near there, so she would um, come into the store regularly. And when there was an issue that the cashiers couldn't figure out how to explain it to her, they would pull me out of a situation of I was in a check stand across the store
It's come and
doing
get
my
you.
own
Kim, we need
thing.
you.
Yes. And they wouldn't write it down. They wouldn't type it
Well,
out.
you would think
You
that's
know,
such a
and
like
I
go-to solution there. I didn't even.
would think, but people they don't know. They don't know. They're 100, I wouldn't say 100%, but more often than not, hearing people just freeze up because I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I get that.
So then they treat me as an interpreter when I know bare minimum sign language. I'm not certified as an interpreter, so I cannot be an interpreter.
Me.
And following all of these deaf influencers on either TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, deaf community is very I wouldn't want to say closed off, but they're very specific. They're they're very I don't know, kind of like this is our club, you're not allowed kind of
They're
situation.
a little gatekeepy about it.
Yes.
I see.
And so you would be considered hard of hearing because you have a hard time hearing.
Moderate,
Um
as I've learned today.
yeah.
I'm sure
And
that the doctor told me that, and I just forgot. Like that happens all the time. But
yeah, yeah. But they wouldn't accept you in the deaf community because you're not deaf.
oh, I
Mm,
see. Well, I will
mm,
say I have seen a lot of that happen on TikTok, especially with this push of
yes,
folks who are doing subtitles. Like I don't know,
yes.
but that's a huge that comes back to the rope that we're talking about earlier, putting more time into things that you're doing to be more accommodating for other folks. We often have to realize that
Mm,
your rights as a person, like we talked about last week, stop where another person's begin. So theoretically, even though it's really cool that people are making accommodations for folks who are disabled, like I don't think it necessarily makes somebody an asshole to not want to invest the time into doing that. They're their own person, they get to choose. Now that person, by making the choice to not be accommodating, is probably missing out on an opportunity to like interact with another human being, which sucks, right? But that's still a person's choice. You have to respect that that is what a person chose to do or not do in this case. But in on TikTok, so I saw exactly what you were talking about in terms of the deaf community. Like, there's a person who said that because they were replying to there was a video, a TikTok of somebody calling for all content creators to start captioning their fucking videos. Which, as somebody who benefits from that, I think that's a fucking awesome idea. But I also
oh,
recognize
absolutely.
that that's a huge time sink, especially as somebody who edit videos. Speaking of, sorry Archers that I haven't put out last week's episode. I just have not done it, so I will do it. Anyway, uh, it's a huge time sink to edit videos and to add subtitles, especially because something we're going to talk about here in just a little bit is that the technology in just randomly picking up voices and like dictating, it's come a long way, and there's some really awesome dictation software, but it's the really good shit is not like publicly available, right? Or it's just not accessible through like a paywall. So like to sit down and listen to what you said and then caption it and then try and go back and edit the times so the times match up right, like that adds a huge time sink to editing. So, and there are some folks who are doing this as a third job, for example, and maybe don't have the time to put into it. They have time to press record while they're in their car, which we see a lot, and then just send the video, which as obviously their brand grows, they'll prioritize their time differently. But the point is that we're not people are not obligated to spend the time to do things to accommodate other folks, even if it is a really awesome thing to do. At least that's my opinion. As a person, like I said, who would really benefit from that happening, I want to recognize that person's choice. And I some people will say, well, that person's an asshole for not making that choice, but I just don't think so. I just kind of don't care. I'm like, okay, well, then we're probably going to have a harder time communicating, or you won't immediately get my like and follow like other content creators who did take that time, right? Like, I recognize your choice, but we're gonna miss each other probably. Like, what do you think? Do you think that people are kind of obligated, or how do you feel about that situation?
Um, Honestly, yes, because
Okay, tell me more.
they're they're not being included.
True.
It's an active choice not to help them. It's an active choice to honestly be ableist, if I'm being honest.
Okay, fair. Well, now we were gonna title that, so that's a really good point. Go on. Sorry.
That's okay. So like when I was doing my research, I came across a website that said like don't automatically come up to a person and like a blind person, for example, grab their arm and lead them where they're
Oh,
supposed to
just
go.
assume that they need your help.
Exactly.
You need your
But then at
notepad.
the same time, why assume that they don't need your help? Why actively choose not to help them if it inconveniences you? Like,
Well, okay, so that's a really good question. I'm really glad that you were bringing this up. First of all, thank you for disagreeing with me because like that's awesome. I like this. I need this. I'm here to learn. So, one thing I want to hit real quick because I don't want to miss it is like the inherent contradiction that we have there, in that hey, it's ableist to assume that people need your help if you like you said, but also why do we assume that they don't need our help? That's just like a high tightrope, isn't it? So like and that this is why I personally, because I thought that too, right? Like I also couldn't figure out which side of that rope I was gonna fall off on, but that's why I defaulted to you're a person's right stopping another person's rights, right? Like I agree with you that it's probably a bit exclusionary to not include like captions on content, for example. And we can even talk about captions on content because I had the thought too while I'm editing, why don't you put in captions? That would be pretty cool. But YouTube has pretty cool dictation software and it does a great job. It helps me a lot, so I'm really kind of. But I will say I have put in a little bit more effort to enunciate a little bit more clearly, so that that thing would pick me up a little bit better. But the point is that I made an active choice to not put subtitles into my videos. So I'm 100% at an opportunity to like talk about this and learn about it and like get a little bit of an outside perspective, which is always a helpful thing. So like for me, like I said, it was kind of a time sync thing, but also like I said, I when I made the active choice, I did recognize that it would probably exclude some folks who, say, for instance, if the video, like Twitch doesn't have captions, I don't have Twitch captions. And all of the plugins that I found for Twitch captions, hold on. Done? He's like, yeah, I guess so. No, 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 no. Get. He's gonna wet beard me. Do you dogs do the thing where they dip their whole face in the water bowl and then come and set it in your lap?
when I had big dogs, yes, my
Yeah.
dogs don't drool. I had like Great Danes and Mastiffs, so
Oh, you got
they
the
had
big slobbers.
oh yeah.
The big slobbers. That's awesome. Anyway, to digress, um, I had so Twitch doesn't have captions, and they have plugins for captions, but the plugins that I've tried can't. They don't keep up with how fast I talk. You may have noticed that kind of zoom. So so it's, if anything, I've been on situations where the captions, like for instance, TVs in public spaces, typically DMVs, bars, or other places, they have captions, and the captions are like a whole minute and a half ass behind the fucking show, which isn't sometimes useful, but for the most part, it's kind of like, well, the moment's kind of passed. So then you see something, the captions come up, you read the captions, you didn't hear what was on the screen, but they narrated something happened 30 minutes ago, and you're like, yeah, no shit, I just watched it. But it would be cool if it was like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But to me, that's been more annoying than actually just watching it if there were no subtitles there. I'll just figure it out myself. I have to already figure it out myself, right? It was cool to have the confirming thoughts or the disagreeing thoughts if I was wrong about what I was seeing, especially if I'm like watching sports, because I know all there is to know about sports. Excuse me. But the point is that yeah, so some platforms make it a little difficult to do captions, but I made the active choice not to add captions to the videos, like I said, mainly because the time sync. So it's interesting to hear that I didn't really even think. I figured that it would just be content not consumed by that person, right? As a content creator, and this is going to be another episode later on down the line, but I'm creating art in an art-filled world, right? I'm basically having conversations where, in this case specifically, even right now as we speak, I'm learning about a thing that I didn't really know that much about that I probably should know more about, right? So I bet you, if I threw a rock out the window, I could probably hit three other YouTubers or Twitch people who like have a random ass podcast or talk show specifically that have or will talk about like disabilities and stuff. So, and I figured one of them will probably be a little bit more thoughtful for me. So I get it that that's probably a bystander effect way to approach it. But also, like I said, I got to balance the needs of the others with the needs of myself. Also, like I have to respect my own boundaries and the things that I'm willing to do versus how much time it takes. So it's interesting to hear that that's probably a little bit ableist, and it does definitely like stack onto the guilt a little bit. So maybe that'll change. If you guys see captions in the videos in the future, we know exactly why.
I caused it. I made you feel guilty. Well, so
Well, I'm pretty sure that religion did that, but guilt captions. Yeah, exactly.
in your situation, um, so put yourself in somebody else's shoes. If you were, again, profoundly deaf,
Yeah,
and you wanted to watch your own content, but you couldn't figure out how to add captions, and there's always an on and off switch, almost always an on and off switch
true.
with captions. That's with the ADA.
So like if it gets annoying, you
Um,
just turn it off.
that's what my dad does. Yeah, all the time. I have captions. I turn captions on everything, and he turns it off because it pisses him off. But with Twitch, I haven't figured out how to do captions. So if you were somebody who was profoundly deaf and wanted to watch your show, why don't you add captions?
That's a fantastic question. I'm really glad that you asked because
Because
I
that's
am.
not including them.
What's that? That last part?
It's not including them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's a fantastic question because I'm 100% the person that tries to see things from both sides and put myself in other people's shoes. One thing I try to, um, I guess, embody as a person, you know, that perspective gun from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there's a gun where you shoot somebody and they understand all of the things that you're thinking and feeling, but can't communicate with your mouth.
Mm.
It's pretty cool. Anyway, I think about it all the time. And I did think, what would I do if I were a person who couldn't consume my content but wanted to? And the answer is a little shitty, and I only feel a little guilty about it. And it was I would click away from my stream and find one that did accommodate me, right? Like because if I didn't know who I was, I wouldn't give a shit. I just wouldn't. I would just find like. And I've done that before in the past where people are creating content that looks interesting but just doesn't vibe with me or doesn't fit my needs one way or the other, and I just leave. Especially, I think that's both a very big upside and a very bad downside to being a content creator in general, is that now it's just a saturated market. Every other motherfucker out there has got an Instagram, Twitch, or like YouTube. And I think that's fucking great. Despite the micro expression that I gave earlier, it was a completely unrelated thing. But I think that it's awesome that everybody's doing that because you get to see more expressions of people's creativity. You get to have a better beat on a person who they are without them, because not everybody does a good job at communicating who they are directly through words. Sometimes you have to learn about a person indirectly, which does sound a little creepy now that I say it out loud. But the point is, people are expressing themselves artistically, and I think it's beautiful. But that also means that's a pretty beautiful thing. The downside is it means that your exposure is a little bit more difficult, right? So that means that part of succeeding on a platform like this in terms of content creation, you have to put in extra work to reach a broader audience, and you have to captivate that broader audience. It's a two-way like street. And so I recognize that by not including a demographic that I'm also reducing my exposure, but I also recognize that there's also, based on what I just said, content creators out there that will fill that need and will fill that niche, and they'll keep those, and quite frankly, they deserve those viewers for putting in that work. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So like it's like I said, it's kind of a bystander. Probably a bit of a way to shirk a bit of accountability, I would say, to admit that directly. But I would also say the guilt is lessened by the fact that those folks, and I've looked it up. You know, fuck. You know what? The information of the world is at our fingertips. Let's do deaf content creator. So it just there's deaf YouTube channels. There's like they hit me with a list of I shouldn't have clicked that 25. There's people who they're like holy shit. They already hit me with 50 people on the first page of different content creators. So like I said, I'm not trying to say that I shouldn't do this thing. I'm saying I feel less guilty about not doing this thing because other people are doing this thing. So that because the ultimate at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is for a person to be entertained or to learn, one or the other. Usually, when they're consuming internet content, for example. So I figure as long as that content exists, especially in these volumes, I do agree that it should be a shit ton more. I now that I'm saying that, I do realize that it sounds ableist to say, hey, they have enough content. They don't need to experience the same content as everybody else. That's pretty shitty now that I.
And hypercritical.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Well, and here's the other thing that's really shitty is that I do recognize that I think that just because of that realization, I'd be interested to go back in the editing and see what my face looked like when that hit me because it hit me like a fucking freight train. I was like, wow, dude, that's kind of shitty to say. Um, so yeah, but here's the thing: I'm still not gonna add captions to my videos yet because I don't have the time. But the cool thing is now that I have this knowledge, I think that as time goes on, and if I do get more availability, say if it does become a thing, or I do decide to put more time into it, and you know what I mean, and can set aside more time to do that, that'll be higher on the list because there's other things that I want to do too, add transitions and make emotes and make new panels, and there's all this other shit that I want to do that I think needs to help reach more people. I think that I should probably prioritize that a bit higher.
Well, so maybe you could find a friend that can caption your videos for you when you don't have time.
I pity the fool who has
You
to
know, that
watch all my content over and over again.
no, not at all. They'd be helping you out and they'd be helping out the community. You know, and in reality, a lot of people don't even, describe pictures for the blind, or they
Sure.
don't, you know, like like the um like I don't know. Um I can't even think of any other ableist disabilities. But you know, people really just don't want to put themselves in the other person's perspective. I think it's just easier to brush it aside. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm
Sure.
just trying to be honest.
Sure.
Um, so when I'm filling out job applications, for example, I don't click that I'm disabled, even though technically I am because I have a mental disability.
Ah,
I
which is our next topic.
learn correctly, um, and I'm depressed. I have major depressive disorder. So that's considered being disabled. And I don't put that on a job application because I don't want to be judged for it,
Fair.
which is the whole point of the ADA. Like there's it's a non-discriminatory, words are difficult, employer, a equal opportunity employer, but I still don't put on that job application that I'm disabled because it doesn't specify the disability that I have.
Sure.
And I don't think that I'm disabled because my depression isn't disabling me.
So
But I
you're
am disabled
you're
if the
saying
depression
okay.
does disable me,
Okay.
if that makes any
Yeah, it
sense.
does. Yeah.
So, but like, I mean, I'm even guilty of it. I don't caption my pictures to describe how it looks to a blind person.
Wait, question. Um,
Mm.
and this sounds like me being a smartass, but I'm seriously curious. If a person's blind and can't see the picture, How are they going to see the caption of the picture?
because they have oh, and uh I don't know
Oh,
what the
oh,
word is.
oh! It's a fucking disability
They
tool on the computer where you put your mouse over something and it explains what you're looking at.
or even on the phone because it reads it out to you. It's all
Oh,
auditory.
that's fucking cool.
Yeah,
Neat.
yeah. And I
They should have put that
follow
in Daredevil. Oh, media representations. Go on. You follow.
well, so I follow a blind person on TikTok, and she talks about how she has the reader aloud thing turned on her phone. I
Very
don't know
technical
how.
term.
What? Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Um, and her friends who aren't disabled turned it on and doesn't know how to turn it off. So now it reads everything that they text to speech, yeah. And then so you can turn it on your phone. And we all try to oh sorry. I don't know what's going on with my phone.
I was like, what the fuck? We have ghosts!
Yoo-hoo!
I knew the cat was talking.
It's from Frozen. It's the yoo-hoo, big summer blowout.
Oh, nice. X-Ray
Oh,
was just saying in chat that if you click a message in Discord, it'll read it to you.
oh,
I'm
I
gonna
didn't
try
know
that. I'm
that.
gonna try that right now.
Yeah, I
Right
know,
click.
right?
Holy shit! Speak message.
Kimberlich 022176461028
It does
said,
say
how
your
does
whole
it
last
start?
name. Yeah, it did. It is. It right clicked it. Right click mine. Speak
Bowborne
message.
said, I can
Oh
call
well,
yeah.
I
It
mean,
called me Bowborne. It called me Bowborne, Kim. Oh my god. Okay, technology has a long way to go.
I'm on the phone, or I'm doing it on the phone, so I don't even know what I'm doing.
Oh, it
I'm
called me
sure it would.
Bowborne. That's crazy, X-Ray. Holy shit. What the more you... I'm sorry. So
No,
so
you
so
learn
not great.
something new every day.
I'm glad that you agree with me that it's not great X-ray because the converse of that is that my name just reads Bowborn and I'm being a picky bitch about it. That's just the way it is. The robot's right and we're wrong. Maybe. Dun dun dun. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. As you were saying.
Oh, I don't even know what I was saying anymore.
All right. Well,
Uh,
this would be a good
yeah.
segue to jump into, well, and to address what you said earlier about, making the active choice as a person. I definitely do, like, I agree with you. I am just going to operate in the moral gray zone of not doing the thing. And if somebody thinks I'm an asshole for doing the thing, I'll
Mhm.
just agree with them because I can't disagree with them, especially now that I have the facts. You know what I mean? Now that we've done the research, now that I've had the realizations, I'll just say, you're right. I'm an asshole about this thing and I'm sorry. Maybe in another life, or maybe I'll circle back around and stop being an asshole about this thing, and we'd be friends then. But so what I wanted to talk about a little bit was, so let's talk about disabilities that aren't as obvious to the eye for folks. Like you said earlier, you mentioned
Yeah.
mental disabilities. I think that there is really this huge, like, invisible um, gigantic group of folks who have disabilities, mental disabilities specifically, who like it's just not. It's talked about pretty frequently in like the ADD, ADHD, OCD term, but usually like as an overuse or like a societal, like, well, I don't know what the word moniker that people use, just like I put all my pencils in a line, I'm like, so OCD, right? Like, okay, no, you're not. You don't fucking kick the door 6 times before you close it, or other things that folks who are OCD like do, the ticks, like, or you know what I mean, or if it's not like yeah, so it sounds like you have a bit of experience in the realm of the invisible disability.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we
Visible
all do in a
disability.
case.
Yeah.
So like fibromyalgia or
Oh, good
chronic
example.
fatigue or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I don't know how to pronounce it. Or something that's under the skin, something that's obviously invisible but still can disable you. For example, like my mom has fibromyalgia, so if she does something very physical, she's wiped out the next day.
Oh wow.
Sore. tired, she can't function. And
Damn.
that's an invisible disability.
Yeah, yeah,
She knows her limits, so she knows how to not become disabled in that situation, but it's still a disability.
sure, sure. Well,
So,
and I know that there have been folks in my life, or I recognize, that do suffer from invisible disabilities. Holy shit, invisi dizzies, we're gonna call them. 'Cause that's fucking fun to
words are
say.
hard.
I hope that's not offensive because that's fun. I know folks who have had invisi dizzies. Oh my fucking god! And they are severely impacted, like you said, by doing the smallest things that are 100% a disability, even though nobody can see. And I have been guilty of this. I recognize that people, myself included, do not do such a good job at validating the experience that those folks are going through, especially because they can't see directly the impact um, on people's lives, on their own life. So there's even like I was, for an unrelated thing, I was researching suicide statistics the other day, and I found that the people who suffer from specifically non physically presenting physical disabilities, fibromyalgia was a good example of. It was on the list. Folks who suffer, or people who kill themselves. Um, that's a high demographic of folks, and I imagine it's probably because there's a lot of lack of understanding of what those people. I mean, that is a huge part of your life day to day, right? On so many different levels. So if a person just says no, none of that's real, you're making all that up for attention or so you don't have to work. Like that really leans on your psyche. That really probably causes some not so great emotions. And I bet you it probably lends, correct me if I'm wrong, well, I mean, I can speak from experience, but for me at least, it lends to the imposter syndrome a little bit. Like, do I really, right? Like, the
Oh yeah.
invisible is not just an issue as far as everybody else can see. The invisi dizzies are also an issue for the people who have the invisi dizzies. I don't know how many times I've had to wonder, like, is this all in my head? And if it all is all in my head, like, am I just doing this for attention? Can I make this go away by thinking about it? That would be cool. The Invisi Dizzies are quite a doozy. Oh, I don't know how I'm pulling off all these Z's. At least for me
The
and the folks
Invisi
that I'm
Disney
close
is
to.
quite a doozy.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna change. That's what the episode on YouTube is gonna be called. The Invisi Dizzies are quite a doozy. Um, ooh, that's my next band name, the Invisi Dizzies.
There we go. You are finding a band name in every single talk show.
Yeah, really, I haven't noticed if it is everyone that, because I remember we did the one about the Oval Office, but that was like 2 episodes. So I don't know if I made a new one. I
Oh,
don't
but
know.
you did one last week too.
Really, do you remember what it was? I don't remember.
Oh, I don't remember. I
All
mean, I
right.
could probably look it up.
No, it's okay. I'm sure.
I'll look it up and tell you later.
All right, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. X-Ray said that the Invisi Dizzies are a doozy would make a good movie. Cunnilingus, yeah. See, we knew about Cunnilingus in the Oval Office, but I thought that we made a different one. Or Kim saying that we made a different one the following episode, but I thought that I just referenced the Oval Office one from the week before. So I don't know. We'll find out later. The point is, invisible disabilities. Holy shit! Like that's a whole demographic of folks who are, well, and especially when we're really struggling just as a world right now too. Like there's a lot of shit going on in the world that makes people, and this kind of lends back to what I was talking about the moral gray area too, is that there's a shitload of stuff going on in the world that's making people's availability to be more accommodating and available for everybody a little less, like they're not as capable of doing that because they have a little bit less than they would normally available to be able to give to people, right? Especially with like the global
Right.
pandemic and all of the shit that's happening in our country socially, and in related to the pandemic, and like it's a fucking nightmare outside. So, but that is a huge point to bring back to the Invisi Dizzies, because like the Invisi Dizzies are often, and again for those who are just joining us, that is a whimsical encapsulation of invisible disabilities, which I find very difficult to say. So that's a bit of a tool also. Um, and it is in reference to anything that a person is disabled from that people can't see inherently, whether it be mental illness or physical disability that's non presenting, and how they're valid, uh, and also not as widely recognized as they probably should be. Um, so what do you think? I like we talked about earlier, like to put myself in both seats in the cockpit, and I kind of see why folks have a hard time recognizing the Invisidizzies, especially because there are other folks who have their own Invisidizzies who make it pretty hard to trust just people who they don't automatically know. So, and not to mention, we're in such a like everything is like dog eat dog competitive. Like, um, I've seen a lot of one-upsmanships with Invisidizzies on social media, especially TikTok. It seems like people are really like, they're going about it, right? And there's some folks who are just explaining their experience and talking about what they deal with. But I have seen a lot of gatekeeping too, not necessarily like in the deaf community, like you were talking about, but just in terms of like ADHD and ADD and autism. I've seen some people gatekeeping autism. I've seen people gatekeeping like the craziest shit. So like that probably really lends
Mhm.
to the difficulty that we have as a society recognizing the Invisidizzy when people start gatekeeping about the Invisidizzy, right? Like X-Ray and I talked about it. You mentioned you were watching that episode, but it's like that part where we talked about when people are being stupid when they're smoking weed on stream, like just doing whole ass dabs and passing out, and how that's really negative exposure for something that needs more positive exposure. I think that the Invisidizzies are at least currently in the same light in terms of social media, which sucks because it makes it more hard for folks to raise serious awareness for the Invisidizzies.
Yes. Yep. Well, and like I have it pulled up on my computer, but having a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or major life activity is the definition of a disability. Um, and it also includes individuals who do not have a disability but are regarded as having a disability.
Like people who just don't
So,
want to do shit, but can do shit.
or like for example, I have major depressive disorder, but it's not disabling me, but it can
Oh, it's not
disable
physical.
me.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's not physically disabling you from moving, but only physically. Oh, I know exactly the feeling you're talking about. Like your bed, that thing's got. Have you seen Sin City?
Nope.
See, I ask people this question all the time, and nobody watches that fucking movie. And it was one of the most critically acclaimed movies when it came out, so I'm just fucking shocked. Am I the only person whose parent let them watch way underage appropriate movies while they were growing up as a way to babysit? I guess so. The point is
Well, I don't watch movies often,
well,
so
sure, sure. Well, I was
that's
like
my
10.
bad.
Oh, it's an old movie. It's not your bad. It's an old movie, and it's quite it's not appropriate for you would have been like 4 when that movie came out. And it's not a age appropriate movie for a 4-year old. By the time you were age appropriate, that movie had been buried in mountains of other movies. And like you just said, you don't watch movies, so it's not nothing to apologize for. In fact, a lot of people haven't seen it. The point is in that movie, there's a scene where a person gets into a car accident, irrelevant, gets thrown through the windshield, also irrelevant, but lands into a tar pit exhibit. It's like a museum, and they're like, check out these tar pits, and they put like fake dinosaurs in it so that like they can be like, this is what happened to the dinosaurs, and like it's like it's a tar pit, and the dude is in it, and he's just surrounded by darkness, and he has like this monologue about how the darkness is coming and I'm gonna die and finally blah blah blah, like this huge dramatic thing. But the whole point is that it took a fucking effort and a gaggle of motherfuckers to remove him from the tar. He couldn't necessarily do it by himself, and that's the whole point of the tar, is that without help you're not going to be able to escape it, and whether it's outside help, whether it's you helping yourself. So I always reference that in terms of, like you said, sometimes you're not even though it's not a physical disability and people can't see it, like it's still disabling. I like when I had the episodes where I didn't want to leave my fucking bed. I called it the tar. Like I just got the tar. I'm not leaving the bed. That's the way it is. I'm working on it. But the whole point is that like that's a really good example. Well, and to touch on what you said earlier, you don't reference that on applications because you don't want it to be subjective in terms of how you are represented. You don't want people just to label you as disabled and then immediately disqualify you, much to the dismay of the ADA. And I think that that's probably its own struggle for the Invisi Dizzies because, like, it's so hard to explain that to capitalist America bosses that hey, sometimes I'm just not going to be okay, and I'm not coming in on those days. Don't worry, I'll try. I'll do what I can, but at the end of the day, like that's the way it is. So that really does highlight, and like I know people who have lost jobs because they just couldn't get out of bed, and people are like you should have gone out of bed and gone to your job. But like I said, I've been in the tar, so but not a lot of people. I guess that comes back to the whole accommodation thing I talk about. But uh, you've seen examples too, right, of folks we're suffering from the invisi dizzies and folks who are like just fucking step it up dude. And that's probably not the best advice, would you say? Step it up, dude.
Yeah, pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
What a dumb
Like,
saying, right?
if I could, I would. Like, and then if I'm having anxiety or depression and somebody asks why, fuck if I know. If I knew,
I
I
could
would fix that
right,
issue.
I wish I could tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I knew, then would have an answer to why I have anxiety, and I would fix it. So, I definitely.
Fair,
Um, yeah.
fair. I I find myself often in awe of how many times because we should start to draw a conclusion because we're getting to the point where I want to start talking about this. Um, but I find myself often in awe of how many times the conclusion of the show includes thoughtful. This time I want it to be
Mm-hmm.
included in the conclusion, but I feel a bit like a hypocrite putting that in the conclusion, especially based on what we said earlier, right? So, but I do feel a little bit better about having more awareness about the situation, which I also find myself in awe of how many times awareness makes itself into the conclusions. So much so that I think I should ban it to avoid easy generalizations to get off the hook of putting in the work of finding a. Stay tuned. So the point is so what do you think that we can do to help folks who suffer or struggle day to day with disabilities, both physical and obvious and otherwise?
I think I put that in my notes. Um, so to just treat everyone like you would yourself, the golden rule, you know, if you treat a person the way you wanted to be treated, talk to him or her as if you would
Or
anybody
they?
else. Yeah, yes, thank you. And like, for example, oh, darn, I clicked out of it. I don't know what I'm doing. Life is hard. Um, but like, for example, if you're talking to a deaf or hard of hearing person, speak to the person directly rather than speaking to the interpreter, being like, oh, he, she, they needs to do this. You turn to them and be like, hey, you need to do this. And then the interpreter will say, hey, you need to do this to the deaf
Cool.
person.
That's helpful. Okay.
So treat them as a person. Don't focus on the disability.
Okay, so let's
And
do remember people or people too.
yes. And when you're talking
Uh
about somebody who has a disability, put the person first. So say people with disabilities, person of disability. Don't say disabled person.
You just
Does that
okay,
make
so
sense?
you don't even bring up the disability? That feels elephanty in the room to me.
No, no, no. You can still bring it up,
Just don't label
but
them by it.
put the person first. So like
Okay,
say
so hey, this is my friend Bo. He's a hilarious, witting, charming, handsome fella. He also can't hear you, so don't cover your
that,
mouth.
yes, but also be like, oh, she is a person with a disability, not, oh, like the disability of a person. Does that make sense?
Kind of. I think I'm tracking.
So
I
it's
do.
I'm talking about just the sentence structure basically.
Oh, okay. Okay, that
Is
helps. Okay.
rather than putting disability first, put person first.
Okay. That's a good way to word that. So, how's this for conclusion? Remember, people are people too, so treat them with grace.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then also like I want this to be in the conclusion,
Send
so
it.
I'm
Send
not
it. That you're a big
trying
part
to.
of the show, so I'm really glad that send it.
If you have the opportunity to help them out, do it appropriately. Don't assume too. Assume is just making an ass out of you and me. But like be helpful to that person in a generous and realistic way.
Okay.
You
So
know,
to put it to example, just to make sure I comprehend, because I need these visual tools. So you're saying if you see a person walking across the street with a cane, don't assume they need your help, but don't assume they don't. But if you see that they like trip on a pothole and drop their cane and are fumbling around for the cane, like walk over there and help them fucking pick it up and hand it to them. Or like say
that's dramatic, yes. Yes.
I love drama. Okay, if that was not obvious by the fact that I started a talk show on a whim, that's the thing. So okay, that makes a lot of sense. So to word that, like you were saying, you said if you had the opportunity to appropriately help them do so. So we'll say, um, so many
I
O's
don't know,
there.
be a bigger person.
Operate with grace. With grace. Here we go. Uh, help where you can.
Hmm.
Boom. I love that. And so I want to come back to what you said earlier in terms of treat people with the golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. I absolve myself of all guilt through the golden rule because, like I said, I treat people like I would want to be treated. I get it. That's the bystander effect.
Okay.
I'll probably circle back
Hmm.
around to it, and that's just me using circular logic to escape a guilt I don't feel like processing right now. So, stay tuned in the future. Maybe we'll see closed captions. Who knows? Who knows? Will
Hey, you
complacency
know,
rule over? Find out next time.
hire me to do your closed captions. There we go.
That's
I
actually.
need an income.
Let's talk about that a little bit later.
There we go.
X-ray said in chat. Basically, same you do if you saw someone without a cane say dropped a bag. Everyone's a person. Oh, that's a really good point. Don't discriminate. So help where you can really does apply to that. That's a really good point, X-ray. That you don't have to just help people who are disabled. Help everybody where
Totally.
you can help. So I
Yeah.
think that the help
But
where
I
you
mean, he's
can.
saying that we're all people too,
Right.
you know?
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, cool. Let's skirt on this insightful and deeper than I expected conversation, and talk a little bit more about you and your business. You said hire you. Um, sounds like you're quite the entrepreneur these days. Tell us more about your business. Tell us more about Kim Shoppable. I'm gonna get a link for you on
Well,
here.
so right now I'm currently unemployed, as I've mentioned too many times in this talk show.
Okay.
Um, but I've been doing Instacart and like Grubhub
Okay. Cool.
to make ends meet.
Sure. You just
And
that you're out there on the
thankfully
grind.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
I said you're out there on the grind.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and thankfully I had like a savings account, so I wasn't completely ruined by losing my job. But
Cool.
Instacart was kind of like, how do I get paid more?
Fair.
How can I do more? And I found this um platform called Dumpling, and it's basically like creating your own business through dumpling. So Kim Shoppable is an extension of the platform Dumpling.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay.
it's not necessarily my own business, but I'm kind of
But you're
owning
doing
my own
you're
business.
I mean you're doing the business, right? So like that is a platform that you use for your business, but you still have a business, right? Especially like if you go do all the business
Right.
things like tax stamps and all that shit. So like
Hmm.
that's fucking cool. Like what a way to excuse the vulgarity here, but I am after all just a human. Grab life by the balls and just go after what you're looking for. They're like that's really fucking cool. Hey Tay Tay.
Yeah. So I have to, find my own clients, make my own business cards, market my own business. I made a Facebook page, um, which I need to post on there. It's just hard to figure out what I'm going to say.
Welcome to the
Um,
content creator struggle, my friend.
right. Yeah, so I was talking and I'm like, my page is basically just a meme page saying, instead of this, do this. Well, you can avoid this by doing this.
Yeah,
So I like post pictures. I'm like, hey, avoid the tantrum. Let me shop for you.
that was a good one.
I know, right? I thought so. And then the running the light with the shopping cart made me laugh so hard. But
Yeah.
then I was like kind of disappointed because nobody else saw it.
Ah, yes. Now, welcome to the woes of exposure, my friend. Yeah, no, it's a whole ass other thing that we were talking about earlier, and well, and that's
Mhm.
kind of I had some of the questions I sent you, that I want to talk about. One of them was like experiences that we've kind of run into through creating. I mean, and yes, you own a business and you operate a business, but still in a way to draw in new customers. I'm assuming. Correct me if I'm wrong, you're creating content. I've seen like your memes, you did the art, like you're putting work into creating things for your business. I still think that counts as creating. It just has like it has that extra use to it. So what are like it sounds like you've run into some issues um where like you put a lot of work into a situation and it didn't necessarily like pole vault as you had hoped it would, right? What did you like take away from that in terms of like the situation where that happened? Like any did you like notice anything that you could have like done better next time, or did you get any ideas from that one or any other, you know what I mean?
Um, I think I'm going more towards whimsical, haha, that's funny, rather than being serious with my page. I think that maybe instead of doing a GIF or a meme, I should really just like sit down and create a paragraph or something that's eye-catching in a way, but also serious and showing people that I can um, like balls to the wall, all in.
Okay, yeah.
Like rather than I want to tell people that I take it seriously
Okay.
rather than just posting memes and gifs and being like, hey, haha, you can avoid this if you hire me. Like I
Yeah,
have to make it professional.
I see. Well, I got a really good bit of advice from a dear friend of mine recently. Can I share it with you? Is relative to what you're
Yeah,
talking
for
about.
sure.
So I tend to be a bit of a goofball, as you may have noticed. Um, but also when situations get a bit more serious, I tend to kind of put that aside, like you're saying, right? Time to make. I got advice from a really good friend of mine. His name is Rad. Give me 1 second. We're getting a big old raid from our buddy Magnet Beard, which means that
Woohoo!
our buddy Magnet Beard has decided to bring his community here to the talk show.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so we have a whole new friend, a whole new gaggle of friends to talk to. Hey, everybody! Shout out Magnet Beard.
Hello.
Magnet Beard, that's hilarious that didn't work, and I feel really guilty about it. But I'm gonna. For those of you who don't know who Magnet Beard is, he's a very, very hilarious and insightful content creator. Um, and he's a very dear friend of mine. He has provided me many of he is the reason why in my head sometimes when I'm really high and do stupid things I think to myself, he's been affected by the vapors because that was just a random phrase that the dude sent to me. I don't know if it's a reference, but we were playing Mario Kart and I kept falling off the map because I was too stoned to drive. Don't smoke and drive, kids. And
Mm.
um that's what he said. So it's forever stuck in my head. It lives there rent free. If y'all don't know who he is, go check him out. 100% worth your time. Really awesome dude. But yeah, Magnet Beard, there was no bot on. So to come back to what we were saying, oh fuck, did I lose the point? Hold on, I think I wrote it down. Do you remember what it was? Oh, the advice. So he told
Uh,
me, oh fuck,
oh yeah.
snap, right back. Man, who would have known? Even affected by the vapors, he circles back to the point. Bang, bang. The spider webs at the blacksmith. Blacksmith, by the way, just to go on off another spider web, I have implemented that mental tool to remember things, and it works fucking wonders. I remember so many things now. Now that I start bragging, I'm gonna forget all the things. So let me knock on wood. But the advice that my dear buddy Sam gave me was you can do both. They're not mutually exclusive. I avoided humor because I didn't want it to take away from the severity of the situation. I didn't want it to seem like I wasn't taking things serious, and I didn't want it to seem like I was making the situation a joke when I should be paying attention, because that pisses me off when I'm trying to be serious with the person. They won't stop trying to be funny. Like, shut the fuck up, man. I'm trying to fucking talk to you. But
Mhm.
and I told him that too, and he said, "Well, I mean, but it doesn't have to be all jokes. It doesn't have to be all serious, right? Like, be who you are. If you have a joke that comes to mind, say it. If you're, read the room, obviously. But if you have a joke that comes to mind, say it, because it could help diffuse tension. It could show somebody that you're not attacking them. It could show somebody that you're just being a person and communicating. Like, it doesn't. But obviously, if they say, hey, like, don't make jokes, I'm fucking serious right now, then stop making jokes. But like it's another lively piece of life advice, I guess, that we talk about all the time, is just try it and see what happens, but respect the no's, right? Like, that's coming to so many other episodes too. Just fucking try it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But so, me for one, because the reason I give you this advice in this situation is because I enjoy the memes, and in the successful businesses that I've seen, at least in as it relates to social media marketing, the folks who get the most exposure, those little charts that Facebook gives you that like rule your fucking life, like those skyrocket because the people are doing both, because you have a wonderful sense of humor and you're a fantastic artist. And at the risk of me telling you all these things that you already know about yourself, and so like the memes are pretty fucking good. They're hilarious. But you could do that and also do your posts. That comes back to what we talked about earlier with the time that a person wants to spend doing a thing. Obviously, you're going to want to figure out, what time you want to spend. But like, I would be sad to see the memes go if it was just serious content. I would get it because that's your choice and that's more professional. And that is like, people can be like, wow, she takes this really seriously when they like check out your Facebook. So, take it with a grain of salt, because I am a bit of the meme lord. That I do appreciate the memes, but I totally think you could do both and really fucking succeed there.
Yeah, for sure. I have to find a balance. Yeah, that's what I'm taking away from it for sure. Thank you.
Sure, sure. I'm glad that didn't come off like mansplaining and do all these things. I've tried to get a little bit better about asking people if they want advice, because I realized that I really hate unsolicited advice, but then I also realized that I did it all the time, and that I should probably not do that. And I found out, honestly, it's been cool because it takes a lot of the weight out of conversations I have with people. And like, I've seen people pleasantly surprised when I ask that question. And like, it pays it that's a route that pays its own toll, is a saying that I'm gonna start saying. Is that a saying? Have you heard that before? Has anybody heard that before? A route that pays its own toll? Because if not, that's a thing.
TM, TM.
Ooh, I've never looked into trademarking things. I bet you that would be difficult. You think it would
Well,
be?
one of my podcasts say that all the time. They say something and they think it's absolutely hilarious, and they're all TM, TM, TM.
You have to. You have
Don't
to.
steal it.
I
Like,
swear to God, I had the original idea for those shoes that you could fucking the Heelys. You know the Heelys, but instead of being Heelys, the wheel unfolded from the bottom of the shoe, so you just had some really shitty rollerblades. You remember those?
no.
Oh,
I mean, I had Heelys, but I don't remember the other ones.
Heelys are the perfected version of all of the. So the Heelys, the predecessor to Heelys, was this shoe. It basically looked like a Sketcher with an extra inch under it, and there were wheels inside that would fold down and lock into place. Does anybody else remember those in chat, or am I getting shazammed right now?
No,
And
there's new ones coming out. I mean, there's like,
well, yeah, when TikTok has really exploded Heelys, like Heelys is a brand new meme. We should talk about how social media exposure, specifically in relates to TikTok, is really causing a shit ton of old stuff to come back. Right? Like, now apparently everybody knows
totally.
who the fuck Ocean Spray is. I knew already because I've had kidney stones. But I'd like and UTIs. So
Or like bladder, yeah, bladder
I know
infections.
who Ocean Spray is, but there's a bunch of people who didn't. Okay, good. Iron Fletcher does. I got a ghost for a pinch. Okay, see you,
Well,
Magnet.
and
Thanks for the raid,
Ozzy
dude.
Osbourne, knowing people know Ozzy Osbourne from Post Malone, and I'm like,
Oh yes, that blew my fucking mind. So anyway, the point is I had the idea for the shoes. So I was rollerblading one day. I was like, man, my brother's skateboard. I now skateboard, but the shitty thing about rollerblades versus skateboard, and this is the only shitty thing. I don't care what you guys have to say, is that you have to fucking sit down and take your goddamn shoes off if you don't want to be on wheels anymore. And skateboard, you just jump off that motherfucker. So like, if you're on a vert on a skateboard and you just jump off the fucking skateboard and like knee pad your way to the bottom and be fine. But on skates, you still do the knee pad thing, but your feet are still fucking weapons. Especially, or like ice
the whole
skating.
process.
Yes, it's fucking ridiculous. So
Yes.
I thought to myself, we should really solve this problem. And I was a whopping 8 years old, and I said, what would you? How cool would it be? Because I looked at the bottom of my fucking inline rollerblade and said, there's screws here. I bet you I could just take these off. And I said, well, they should make some little mechanism where you just latch it on and off. Little did I know that existed in the forms of skis. Um, and now they do have inline rollerblades that just strap onto whatever shoes you're using, which are pretty fucking cool. But
Right.
like that, I had the idea of skate shoes before skate shoes were a thing, and now Heelys are all over the place, and I feel like the world's biggest idiot. But at the end of the day, I was 8. What could I have done, right? Like, Grandpa, here's an idea for this thing. Oh, great, Timmy, go back to watching your cartoons. Fuck off, or whatever Grandpa say. So the point is trademark, trademark, trademark. Well, and you're doing all your original art for your channel, right? And all of your social media stuff. Is that your art?
Yeah, I created it. It's like an outline of Kim Possible. But I edited it. That's a hard word to say.
Yeah, it's fucking hard. Yeah.
To like be my own.
Okay.
And I
Just
played
just enough
around
to
with it
skirt like
for
the.
probably like
You played around with it. Sorry to interrupt. For probably like.
4 hours trying to figure it out because I was putting like shopping cart gifts or like reusable bags or trying to. I found like one clip art of a cart that had just carrots in it, and I'm like
People
that's
are
not
gonna only
usable.
call it you if they want carrots.
For
Are
real,
you the
yeah.
carrot lady?
Just be their reindeer, horses, or rabbits, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So you did enough work to make the reference referenceable but not suable, which is pretty fucking awesome.
Oh,
Um,
I'm
and
like texting you. Is this okay? Am I gonna
yeah,
get sued?
I mean, I don't know. I do want to highlight I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but I wouldn't
Right.
sue you if I were Disney. So, but again, I don't speak for Disney, so they could fucking sue you. I don't know. I could
Do
see
it.
Kim Shoppable being like the next big shopping conglomerate. Watch out, Jeff Bezos. Is it Bezos or
Please.
Bezos?
Yes.
You know if it's Bezos or Bezos?
I don't know. I can barely pronounce edited.
Fair. So at 10 years, Kim Shoppable, the next big thing. You know what? Disney's going to come for you in a takedown, and you're going to ninja that meeting and be like, Disney, why don't you get into the shopping market? Why don't we be partners? And all of a sudden, you're like a Disney shopping director. How cool would that be?
I go on Shark Tank.
You don't even need to, man. Shark Tank, Disney will buy Shark Tank. They have Star Wars and Marvel.
mm, valid.
You don't need Shark Tank. You don't need those old crusty rich people telling you that you're not good enough. Fuck those dudes. Oh, I've seen. Oh, you know what? I used to love Shark Tank, but I've seen them turn down some really fucking good ideas. They're like, "Oh, you don't have these things to succeed in a capitalist society." And you're like, "Motherfucker, that's why you're here. You do the thing, I'll give you the thing. Fuck off." They're like, "No, I don't want this unless I can scalp your entire company and sell you to Malaysia in 10 years. Fuck off." Like, oh, okay. No, fuck that show.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Iron
hate that
Fletcher
show.
just said
I
in
hate it
chat.
so much.
Yeah, it's not fun. Iron Fletcher said in chat, Heelys make adult sizes.
Did yeah, and I was just thinking too much one night, and I almost bought a pair, and then almost told my sister to drive, and I would hang on to her like rear view mirror, and I would just skate on the road
On
in my neighborhood.
Heelys, bro, you're definitely gonna eat asphalt if you do that on Heelys. Do it on your skateboard.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Smart.
definitely.
So talking about Bezos, we still don't have a fucking ruling on that. Do you say Bezos or Bezos?
Who? What?
Jeff Bezos from
Who is?
Amazon?
Oh, I didn't even know that was his name. The most
Really?
rich, the
That's
most
a
rich man in the world, and I didn't
yes.
even know. Uh,
If anything, that's the ultimate thumb and fingers to Jeff Bezos. Is not everybody knows who you are, you fuck.
right?
um,
Well, so I really try to shop on Etsy because Amazon is just way too, it has way too much power, and I don't want to go into like conspiracy theories. That's
sure.
not the discussion, but I
Okay.
really, really try to do my shopping from Etsy to support small businesses.
Cool. I definitely do still shop under Amazon because there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, which is a whole ass other episode. But
Fuck capitalism.
speaking of the bees, so what are some things that you hope to achieve with Kim Possible? Where would you like to see Kim Possible or shoppable? Sorry, see it even got me. Where would you like to see Kim shoppable in 10 years?
I don't want to have to continue looking for a job and getting all of these no's or nothing back. I want to be able to sustain myself and have my own business, and truly understand how and what it takes to run my own business. Like right now, like I said yesterday, my mom is my only client right now. Shout out to mom, love ya. But
Thanks for the biz, ma.
yeah, appreciate ya. You're always there. But I just want more people to, you know, want me to help them. Um, and I really truly believe that I can help people and benefit, or people can benefit from my services because, either they're disabled and they can't go out, or
Oh,
they
like we were talking
have,
about earlier. Yeah, good example.
exactly, or they have children that they just don't want to drag along with them, or they're a single parent,
Don't
or
have the time. Like, yeah, yeah.
they're just avoiding outside because it's scary out there.
True.
Um, and I'm a healthy person. I'm able to fight off whatever is out there, I would hope, and be able to give them a peace of mind, so that they don't have to worry about going to the grocery store and catching the Rona.
The Rona. That's really awesome, and like it's cool to see somebody with such a big brain have so much ambition and like we said earlier, to be vulgar, grab life by the balls, and do what you got to do to like because I also have the dream of one day being self-employed. Like, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Like this, like for instance, the talk show. It'd be cool for like interviewing fucking famous people, right? How cool would that be?
For
Um,
sure.
and then still
Oh,
get to
right.
hang out with my friends and like I don't know. The point is, when I dream of those things, I also um, think about like being self-employed, and I totally see the appeal there because who doesn't want to be able to function in this fucking country while also doing the things we love. So, but I think it's really cool the folks that are out there actually chasing that, because I think that there's a large number of people who dream about it, but there's a less than large number of people who are out there actually doing it. And that's pretty cool that you are one of those people. So tell us how we
Thank you.
can help you. Where's your area of operation? And tell us more a little bit. So you talked about it a little bit earlier, but so basically you're a personal shopper. Folks can give you orders. What kinds of things can they order from you? What things will you shop for? What things will you not shop for? That's probably a more fun question.
Um, well, like the first thing that comes to mind is
Okay,
like
send it. Come on.
adult stuff,
You're not gonna. So
right?
somebody sends you a dumpling order like, "Hey, I need 12 inches, pink. Make sure it vibrates. Nothing over $75." You're
Oh,
like,
fuck no. Probably
decline.
do that yourself. Yeah.
That one goes to the
It's
bees.
all
Sorry,
based on your
stranger.
personal opinion.
Yeah,
Well,
sure,
it's all personal.
sure.
Like I'm not gonna pick out something that you're gonna use every day that I'm not even gonna be a part of. Like,
Oh damn,
dude.
girl. So you're saying, so you would leave them a note and
Well,
be like, "Am I invited? If no, use Amazon." Is that what you're saying?
yeah, well, yeah, kind of. Um, so basically, I can do anywhere that accepts Visa.
Okay.
And on the app, it has like a list of stores that you can go to, and through the app, it has stores from all over the US
Oh,
because a
neat.
lot of people everywhere use it. There's Smith's and Fred Meyer's, which is all Kroger brand or Kroger owned,
Oh, that's a
but they're not
slap in the
here,
face to them, isn't it? Like, how you fired me, bitch. Now look what I'm doing. Eh, I'm
right?
taking away
Right?
from your
Yeah, that's
delivery
what they
business,
have to do.
suckers. Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
so
I
I
still
can
like
go
Kroger.
anywhere that
Sorry.
accepts Visa. I can do
Cool.
restaurant pickup. I can go to Lowe's or Sephora.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and obviously, well, not obviously, but those stores aren't included. But there's an option to do pick your own store.
Oh, well, that was gonna be my
And
next
so
question. Cool.
yeah, yeah. So there's an option for restaurant pickup and pick your own store. My mom was trying to figure everything out with me, and she told me to go to Wagon Wash, and I was able to go to Wagon Wash,
Oh,
pick
so
out that
people could pay
item,
you to wait.
and
Okay, so here's
accept
the
it.
question: Could you pay somebody, like, say for instance, to wash your dog, to take your dog to Wagon Wash?
Um, I don't know.
Well, you could have that future business expansion idea free of charge. Just remember me when you're rich and famous, and please come back on my talk show. But it'd be awesome if you're like, hey, put in custom store. Hey, I will pay you, because I would pay somebody just buckets of money to come pick up my dog, spend the day with probably the best dog in existence, and then, like, get to drive him home while he's nice and clean. Like, and I fully admit my privilege to be able to do that, but I will simulate the fuck out of the economy by doing that. It's like,
Okay, hire me.
well, that's what I'm saying. Expand that to your
Do it.
business, right? Tell
We'll
people
figure it
that
out.
you can walk dogs. So is it limited to just shopping, or can you put in custom shit like that? Like, hey, come take my dog for a walk around the block. I'll give you $20, kind of thing.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the app to figure
Okay,
it out.
okay.
Have seen on my Facebook group that I'm a part of with the dumpling business owners that they do odds and ends, just kind of weird stuff for their clients, and I don't know how to charge them for it. Um,
Maybe like
so
through
it's
PayPal
definitely
or
something that
something.
I would.
Can you like invoice people? I don't fucking know, bro. That's wow. Okay, okay. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, I don't know. So I would have to figure it out. Oh no, you're totally fine. Um, so I think you could do the dog wash if because you can swipe a card, so like the way the app works is the person who wants the product puts in their debit card,
That's you.
and then no,
Oh, okay.
the person I'm shopping for.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Um,
The customer.
yeah, yes, the customer puts in their debit card
Okay,
or their banking information, credit card, whatever.
sure.
They pick out their list, they send it to me whatever time I'm available or whatever day. I set up my own availability, and then I can go to that store, pick up the products, and I have a dumpling card that I swipe. And I take a
Oh, that's
picture
why
of
Visa. Oh,
the receipt and upload it into the app.
okay.
And so they actually get charged what is on the receipt rather than the estimated total of what is in the app.
Oh, cool. So you can build brandability by saving people money,
Right.
or you can like really use your wits about, because like you said, you worked for Kroger, so you've got a pretty cool industry inside knowledge of like what goes on sale when, and like what's the best band to buy for this or that, and like you have a lot of really helpful pre-context. Um, you have a lot of really helpful pre-context to like be successful in the goal of like saving people money. That's pretty fucking cool. Well, I know personally, the
Yeah.
first thing that comes to my mind, and I think it's illegal, so this is just a hypothetical. Nobody, I do not advocate, but I would totally use a personal shopper for the in a heartbeat. Like, hey,
Oh, totally.
because you can do like pickup orders where you put in a person's name and you just put in their birthday and like information that's on their driver's license, and you can make a shopping cart online, and then like I could send a person. We'll talk off stream. I'm just kidding. I
Oh,
I should probably
no.
I should probably explore the legality of that, which we're not going to do on your time. I'll do that on my time. But um the point is that that's really fucking cool that you get to apply something that you spent so much time learning in terms of knowledge, specifically in reference to um, grocery shopping knowledge, into something that you kind of are your own boss. Like you said, you set your own hours. So, and I know that you're like, I see you put your head down and look at the floor when you're like, my mom's my only customer right now. But girl, like we talked about last night, everybody starts somewhere, right? Like, just remember us when you're rich and
Mhm.
famous. So, where is your
Right.
area of operations? Did I ask you that already?
Oh, I haven't mentioned that. You asked, but I didn't mention
Okay.
it.
Well, like I said, I'm Stony
Colorado
Baloney
Springs.
post Maloney. So,
Colorado Springs and surrounding areas. So
cool.
currently, not to triangulate my position, but I live near Falcon Payton area, so I can go all the way to Calhan and
Oh,
out
nice.
that way,
Yeah, that's
and
pretty far.
then
Yeah.
to Colorado Springs, Briargate,
Manitou,
Northgate
Fountain.
area. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
You're like, I
And
definitely
so
don't want to drive all the way down there, but I fucking will. God damn it, I love my customers.
right, right, yeah. So my friend actually brought up my I want to say greeting cards, gift cards, business cards.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, they took my business cards up to her mom's business in Woodland Park, and her mom has
That's
some
surrounding areas. Hell
clients
yeah.
in Colorado
Oh,
Springs.
nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean that's the way one way that I'm trying to market it myself. But if I have a client up there, if I can make profit, I'll do it. I mean,
Right.
from where I live, it's like an hour and a half drive, so maybe
Sure.
if
Sure,
it's
but
enough money
sure,
and if the
sure.
tip is good too,
That,
because
that's fair. That's a lot of work. Yeah.
yeah, well, and I can make most of my money based too, which is important because
Sure.
you're making your own clientele.
Well, the first
So
rule of
if you're
business is to stay in business, even if you have to make sacrifices for exposure and like spreadability and word of mouth marketing for your customers. Like at the end of the day, if you spend more than you make, you go out of business, and like that breaks the first rule of stay in business.
right, yeah.
I see. Cool. Cool. Well, that's really awesome.
Yeah,
And
like,
go ahead.
oh, I was just reading Iron Fletcher's comment,
Yeah,
book multiple people for the trip. That would make it more worth it.
that'd be cool.
Definitely.
That'd be really cool. Save on gas. Well, and that's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
where I grew up, so I know some people up there, so maybe I could do some personal orders.
Hell yeah, and think about it next time and you fucking crush it out of the water, which your two friends I'm smashing together just because that's the type of person that you are. And then the next time that person's having a conversation with another person, they're like, I should really just pay somebody to do my shopping for me. I don't have time for this. I got to cook dinner for the kids, and Mike is coming home. And just as example, right? Then they'll say, "Oh, well, I know this person. She shot for me like 2 weeks ago, and she crushed
Hmm.
it. I actually gave her $150 to get this, and this, but she got me all of these things, and she saved me $25. Like here, let me send you a picture of her business card. Click, boom. Hey,
Right.
hey, Kim Shoppable, I heard about you from so and so. How do I place an order with you? Boom. Go ahead and download Dumpling. Boom. Here's my username. Boom. You're in business. That's awesome.
Yeah, word of mouth marketing.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Well, hey, I wanted to let you know that we are at 1 o'clock, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I asked this to every guest, and I would love it if you would indulge me. But did that go by fast? Was that as bad as you thought it was gonna be? Was that like grudgingly slow? Especially the part while I was being an ableist douche. Was that like unbearable?
No, definitely not. I've definitely enjoyed our conversation.
Cool, cool. Well, and I just wanted to take a specific moment to thank you for contributing to this. Obviously, it was really insightful for me. Learned a lot, not just in general, but about myself too. So that's going to be interesting for my shower cries. Right? We'll see how that goes. Um, but the point is, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you setting time aside on a Sunday morning into afternoon to gab with me and to educate me and to tell us a little bit more about why you're out there doing the things that you do and on the grind. And I feel confident speaking for everybody when I say that we can't wait to see the things that you're going to do and accomplish, and it's going to be really awesome. And I know personally that the next time I need shopping done in the Colorado Springs or surrounding areas, I will definitely be calling Kim Shoppable. Oh, I was really hoping I didn't say Kim Possible too, so fucking
Good job. Thank you.
thanks, dude. Anything you want to say before we wrap up? Anything you want to pop in?
Well, thank you for letting me come on this podcast, and I will podcast talk show. And I definitely will continue watching, and hopefully, I can come back again soon when I make it big.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Well, and even before you make it big, it's lovely to have a conversation with you. So you're welcome. If you ever see a topic, I give the spreadsheet to everybody. So if you ever see a topic
Yeah.
or you think of one where you want to come on and add to the list, same for you as everybody else. Just send me the topic, we'll get you on here, or tell me one of the slots you want to be in, and we'll put you in there. You're welcome. Folks are welcome. So also, I want to specifically say thanks for saying the word talk show. Like we talked about earlier, I think the only criteria of a talk show is saying it's a talk show, but really I do crave that external
Oh, right.
validation through others. So when they say talk show, my heart goes, yay, I have a talk show. So thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, cool. I'm going to go ahead and let you go and give you back the rest of your Sunday. And I hope we talk soon.
I hope so too.
All right.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Cool. Well, everybody, that was Kim Shoppable. Make sure that you take a look at her Facebook. If you have not dropped a like already, do so. Like we talked about earlier, the person-to-person marketing is important. A lot of you are content creators, so you understand what that engagement and those likes look like. So if that's something you think you might enjoy, her memes are pretty fun. Please drop a follow. Look how many of y'all showed up today. Magnet Beard with the raid. X-Ray, good convo, y'all. Food for thought. Yeah, thank you, dude. I'm glad that you had a good time. And yeah, great job, Kim. I agree, X-Ray. Thank you. I do what too? I say ham in the paint. You're gonna have to explain to me, buddy. I that happened so long ago that I missed chat that I don't have that web, man. I'm sorry, but wow, it's really awesome that y'all came and hang out. I can't believe that we're already on episode 6. Go ahead, please finish. I don't know if you guys can hear that dog barking. Yeah, captivating. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I had a wonderful time. As always, my 2 hours flies by too. I love asking people that question. People are usually often pleasantly surprised by how fast conversations go, which is cool. It means that people are either, we should have an episode. I'm going to say it out loud so y'all. One note, we should make an episode about the oddity of time. And the highlights that I can think of right now are going to be time goes faster when you're having fun. How time goes slower when you're fucking miserable. Miserable. Aaliyah234, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the Archers. I'm sorry I don't have alerts on. Actually don't know why those aren't. The point is, thank you. Welcome to the Archers. We're going to have an episode in the future about the oddities of time. But again, to crawl back down the spiderweb, it's been a wonderful episode 6. It's been lovely hanging out with y'all. I can't wait to see y'all next Sunday. If y'all are new here and came in for the Magnet Raid, thank you so much for sticking around. It's been awesome hanging out here. I hope we get more time with y'all. Make sure to drop a follow if you had fun. We do this every Sunday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. New guest every week. We have, well, I shouldn't say, sometimes we have a guest on most weeks. I'll say that. Here's the Google Doc to the show. If you guys maybe. Let me give you the right one. I think that is the itinerary for Kim's. All right. Well, have fun with the itinerary for that one. Here's the actual sheet. That will be useful for y'all. If you see a topic, even if you're a complete stranger, and you want to be on the show, by all means, reach out to me. Let me know if you see an open slot on there, and let me know which one you want to be on. I'll totally put you on the fucking show. We'll talk, we'll meet, we'll hang out, spend a little bit of time getting to know each other. Manny Beard says your gate for your mic is set a pitch too high, by the way. It cuts you off a bit more. Oh, thanks, Manny Beard. I will totally fucking adjust that. Yeah, it's hard with the fucking. I live next to an airport, so the planes go by, so I have to figure out like a good balance there. I wish that I could just set like a green floating raid bubble of where I should put my head in when my microphone. You know what I mean? Like that would be so useful. Maybe I can get like an illuminated light. That would be so. Oh, you're next to your freeway, yeah. So you totally feel where I'm coming from. And I'm a person who likes to have the windows open. Hold on, let me barking. You guys can't hear the dog barking. See, that's why the noise. Unless I'm talking, then you can hear the dog barking. But it's fine because he seems to be syncing up his talking with my talking. So, okay. Anyway, for the 15th time, had a great time with y'all. Next week we are going to talk about. Let me see where we're at here. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Our buddy Dr. Claw is gonna come on. Richard is his name. We're gonna talk about what it is to be a human, and why the fuck we're doing it. We're gonna talk about the essence of person, soul, some people call it. We're going to talk about why we're on this earth. We're going to talk about theories of why we could be on this earth. Do you think that we're all living in a simulation? Come tell us more about it next Sunday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time on Sunday Tea with Bowborne and Archers. It's going to be fun. I put a perfect space in between and after that sentence so I can cut it out later. All this rambling that I'm doing, y'all, kind of cut it out. It's gonna just cutting it out. Mr. Pink, what's up, dude? Got you on my lunch finally. Hey, I love. I'm sorry that you have to catch us on your wrap up on your lunch. Yeah, Sunday 11 to 1 is definitely like there's a lot of folks that are working, so I'm glad that you got to stop by before we wrapped up completely, dude. I hope you're having a great work day. It's great to hear from you, Pink. Pink. I don't know why I said that. That was stupid. Anyway, next week's going to be a good time. We're going to ramble a lot about a lot of really weird shit. And we're going to sound like two stone monkeys in a tree. And it's going to be really fun. Man, I feel bad. We went hella long there. You should feel bad, dude. If anything, it gave me a lot of stuff to try. Well, I will say the 3-hour episodes do make it hard to make abridged versions. And I do realize that the abridged versions, well, the regular episode's 3 hours, the abridged version's still not allowed to be an hour. But I can't figure out how to cut down that much good content, specifically in your episode, but in other episodes too, to like, I want to do like between 5 and 15 minutes. I think 10 minutes is like, I still feel like that's too long. I want to do like 8 minutes of a montage, and I bet you I could like seriously condense how to put like a bunch of clips to make 8 minutes, but it's so hard to narrow down the ones, especially because you and I just go back and forth, just popping it off, back and forth. So many good fucking jokes. I don't even choose which ones to put in there. But oof, says Pink. Yeah, I still love you too, dude. Don't worry. One of these days you'll have a Sunday off and you'll stop by. It'll be great. We'll have to have you on the show sometime too. That'd be fun. You'll get over it. You'll get it over time. Yeah, for sure. I think so too. And the abridged ones are getting shorter and shorter. The bar that I have for what makes me giggle while I'm stoned at editing is getting higher and higher. So I do feel like as long as progress is being made, that's what's important. Like we talk about so often in the show, right? Progress is progress. YouTube algorithm says 10 to 18 minutes is prime time. So 15 is what I'm going to cut it at because anytime somebody do you guys do this? Anytime I'm cooking something where it's out of a package and it has directions and it gives me a time frame like Iron Fletcher just gave me, I do right in the middle. Like, how are you going to make me choose out of all the minutes in that range there? You want me to choose one? Hell no. In the middle. Fuck you. The problem is his is even. So, I choose, right in between there. I guess I got like 14 and a half, but 15's rounding up. So I'll do 15-minute abridged. I'll try that. Well, and that's the problem that's the reason why my Romy episode from last week with Romelia Claymore is not up yet, because I am really trying to cut down and make like a 15-minute funny version, but there's so many good moments. I should still put up the full versions though. I should start doing that. I would do 20 because I like extra Christmas. Oh, there you go. Okay. I can't wait till Tuesday because I'm going to be working on filming literally anything again. That's going to be fun, dude. Tuesday's right around the corner. It'll be Tuesday before you know it. All right, y'all. Well, let's see how many people are here. Holy fuck. I have that number hidden, but when you look at it, it's higher than expected. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you for being here. We should really forward this love to somebody. Let's go find somebody to raid. Hey, let's go show somebody. Oh, I fucking love this guy. I've never talked in this guy's chat, but I lurk in there all the time. This guy, oh, he's on a be right back screen. I bet you I can gab till he comes back. Why don't we give this guy 2 minutes? We're gonna give him a whopping 120 seconds back to his. Oh, he's not doing like, oh, he's got such a cool be right back screen. What do you guys want to talk about? I'm really excited that so many of you guys are hanging out though. Do you guys think that I should start doing WoW arena streams? I'm thinking about streaming World of Warcraft specifically from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I'll probably do PvP content just because that's what I do, as you guys know, who have spent some time here. For those of you who don't, I do PvP content mostly. I showed up super late. How'd it go today? It went fantastic, chicken. Don't worry, it'll be on YouTube. It was great. Yeah, we learned a lot. I found out that I'm sometimes an ableist asshole, so that's cool. But I also found out that if I apply the golden rule, which is treat other people like you want to be treated, and I don't care how people treat me because I can't hear, then I'm sort of off the hook. So it was fun. Our conclusion for the day was, remember, people are people too, so treat them with grace and help where you can. So it was a pretty good episode, if not a little enlightening for me. I wish you would stream one of my all-time favorite. Hey, dude, that's a really sweet thing for you to say, Aaron Fletcher. Thank you so much, dude. Whatever stream it is, cool. Maybe I will do that. Well, and I have been having just buckets of fun. Any of you who follow the TikTok will see that I've been experimenting with making World of Warcraft content, and I have been having some pretty spicy moments in the World of Warcraft. So I'll probably have to get on that sooner rather than later. That's what we and X-Ray were talking about a couple weeks ago. Was it already a couple weeks ago? Holy shit. The content creator struggle is, do I want to just play this thing and enjoy these moments, or do I want to share these moments? And Kim and I kind of talked about it a little bit today too, in that the balance between doing love and creating. So yeah, it's fun to me how often and how long we can just gab on shit. It's already been the 2 minutes that I gave this dude, and he's still back to his day. Yikes, dude. What are we gonna do? What about y'all? Y'all have anybody that you want me to meet that we should raid randomly? That would be pretty fun, wouldn't it? Like, hey, I've never met you before. Here's all these cool people that hang out with me all the time. I think you'll love them. We should go find. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna find a World of Warcraft streamer. Unless you guys have somebody. We're gonna go to search and we're gonna do Hunter. This search tags. Will it only let me search tags? See if there's any, and then we'll see if we can find a Hunter. Huh? Let's sort by viewers, low to high, because these high people do. See if we can find a Hunter. Let's see if we can find a Hunter. Then we gotta vet them. We'll vet them with y'all. Yeah. You guys want to vet people with me? We'll make it a fucking. Oh, that's the Discord lol. I think that's the right one. Oh, that's the one with the Discord double lol. Nope. Holy fuck! Why is this so hard? Okay, that's better. You get what you get, chat. Get me about editing content. I got everything for it. Y'all, let you know if I have any questions, man. I will let you know if I have any questions for sure. Is this person playing Hunter? I don't see a face cam. Guys, I'm a stickler for the face cam because I love that in person. I gotta enjoy that, that face-to-face communication. And even if it's electronic face-to-face, that helps a lot. Though, don't tell anybody I'm doing Zoom calls with that, because I like not being on face cam for Zoom calls. I'm trying to find somebody who's playing a Hunter and speaking English. I typed in the PvP tag, so I'm also looking for people who are doing. Is that Hunter? I can't tell. I think I see a pet bar. That person's name is It's Ash. Look, check that out. Iron Fletcher, are you playing Hunter? Oh, Fire Mage. There's so many Fire Mages. Okay. I'm gonna leave that up just in case. I can't just because that person did look like so fucking focused. Maybe we'll have a good stream. This is cool to see that there's so many people streaming WoW. I thought that it would just be fucking dead, right? Well, and there's not there's not that many people with just one viewer there, or 0 viewers even. There's a bunch of 3, and it didn't take long to get to 3 and above 3, and that's pretty fucking cool, dude. Check that out. I really wish I could just type in Hunter, because I don't have time to just look through all these motherfuckers. Maybe secretly I was just buying time to see if this other motherfucker had come back from his BRB stream yet. So we'll see if that actually worked. Oh, God. Mm, 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 mm. Thanks, Twitch homepage. This song's lit. DMCA. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, it's still the BRB screen. No. All right. Well, I think that we need to still. Nobody in chat suggested anybody to raid. There's nobody that I know on. I guess we can. Bro, that I don't know. Likes us. I think an introvert, and that would be. All right, I'm gonna rate him. He's playing Warframe. He seems like he's having a good time. Do you guys ever play Warframe?
Doesn't feel as important as this, probably.
We're rating. We're rating right now. Although I should probably go back over there. I can bring him over. I wish that when I clicked to my tab. Okay, we're rating. Yeah. I hope that you guys have a fantastic time. I had a wonderful time spending time with you today. Thank you guys for just hanging out with me while I bullshitted after the show. Those are some of my favorite moments of the fucking stream. I cannot wait to see you all next week, especially because we're going to continue our trend of interrupting ourselves as we're exiting, because it will be really fun.
He's stabilized.